Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
What's up, everyone? We're back for episode 480 of the Massenomics podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing, recorded live from the corners of the Dakotas. My name is Tanner.
And my name is Tommy.
We've got a hell of an episode this week, Tommy. We're bringing a guest interview back. It's been 1 week
since you looked at me. I was thinking maybe it's been a little longer than a week.
Yeah.
It's been a while. That seems more accurate, yes.
It's typically it used to have been about a week every time, and now it's been considerably longer than a week. So we're going to have to dust off the old interview skills. But luckily, when we get someone on, it's not an interview. It's just a friendly chat.
It's just a warm, friendly hello.
So we're got Big Bromley coming up in a little bit here in this episode. But first, I want to let everyone know about the Strength Co. Check them out at thestrength.co. They've got the best made in America Olympic. Olympic means 2-inch. That's your usual barbell size, unless you're some weirdo using a 1-inch standard barbell. If you are, I'm like, get out of the...
I still think about the time I was selling those old plates, and the guy thought they were 1-inch plates, which is really funny to think about.
You wanted those? Yeah.
Showed up, wanted 1-inch plates, but not this time.
No, so you can get some Olympic plates, Olympic iron plates from thestrength.co. They're black, E-coated, smooth, easy to grip. The go-to plates of Massenomics Gym. Use them every day I train there. I used them today. I did some deadlifting with them. I squatted with them. Deadlift might be my favorite lift to use the Strength Co plates for. What's your favorite lift to use the Strength Co plates for?
I mean, it probably would be deadlift if I could deadlift more. Otherwise, I don't know.
They just look good, the way they hit
something
the floor.
About them on squat, though, the way they're loaded up high. That's very imposing.
Imposing
in like a cool way.
I don't think there's a wrong answer, is what I'm getting at there. So you can get some for yourself, and then you decide what's your favorite lift to use them for. Thestrength.co.
And this episode is also brought to you by our fine friends over at Texas Power Bars. Texas Power Bars are proudly made in the USA since 1980 by none other than the legendary Buddy Caps. They produce some of the finest bars, like the original Texas Power Bar, the 29mm Texas Power Bar, the Texas Deadlift Bar, the Texas Squat Bar, the Texas Bench Bar, just to name a few. That's a pretty good lineup right there. We have several of the varieties in our home gym. Massenomics, I believe, has every variety of Texas bar ever made in duplicates, triples, maybe even 4 in some of them in the gym. They really are that good. Get one for yourself. You will not regret it. Head on over to TexasPowerBars.com. Thank you, Texas Power Bars.
As this episode comes out, that means we are about 1 month out from the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic 2025. Not going to give away too many of the particular details this week. There'll be more to come on that in the weeks to come, but just a reminder.
Lifting and drinking is all I know.
Oh, man, takes me back.
If that doesn't get you in the mood for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic, I don't know what the heck does.
That's all I needed to hear.
It's summertime, South Dakota sun, lifting, drinking. So you and a couple hundred of your closest buds doing all that stuff for 3-4 days. What more could you ask for? I'm getting pretty excited for the festivities.
That's all a guy needs, and a gal.
Yeah,
that's all a guy and a gal need.
Well, over the weeks to come, we'll talk more on Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic. But just a reminder, be excited. The hay, you got a little time left to get hay in the barn, but not much. And whether it's your first rodeo or ain't your first rodeo, we're going to be excited to welcome everyone to Western Northeast South Dakota again.
Still a lot of work that needs to be done between now and then.
True.
You know?
Yeah, it's that Massenomics machine, and we're just on the back holding on to the Mad Max Massenomics machine.
It
we're
is
just
approaching
holding
full
on
speed
for dear
here.
life. Yeah, we're just with a hope and a prayer, as they'd say.
That's all we got.
Home Gym Con and other news. by the time this comes out, I'll be in Home Gym Con in about a week from that, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think actually, you and me got a lot we got to talk about with that still. But like I said, there's just so much going on that just still feels like it's on the back burner for us. But yeah, that'll be, I would imagine, about 5 days from now, we'll be having a lot of conversations regarding Home Gym Con.
Yeah, so any listeners that are going to be in Home Gym Con, I'll be there. Big Mini Action Jesus will be Tommy's fill-in, so we're going to get him
got the guy that we thought looked the closest to me. It was a tough addition.
The closest in size.
Mini Action Jesus fit the part as good as anyone.
So if you're looking for me, just look for the 6'7", 400-pound guy with a beard down to his navel, and he'll probably be carrying a camera.
That is not me. That is Justin. And that's where Tanner is.
Yes, so come say hi. Any Massenomics supporting members that come and say hi will get a free Home Gym Nerd glitter sticker. Also, anyone that's wearing anything Massenomics related at Home Gym Con and you come point it out to me, you will get a Home Gym Nerd sticker.
Wow.
So
you better have thousands of those things on you.
Limit one customer or one sticker per customer.
Still might need thousands of those.
That's true. So I hope to see a lot of Massenomics apparel there. I hope to see a lot of Home Gym Nerd shirts there. We did sell out of most of our Home Gym Nerd shirts, but we're going to reorder that one. So if you happen to be missing out on the first run, there might be another chance. Tommy, are you drinking anything over there this week?
Yes, I am. And it's not just what I'm drinking, but how I'm drinking it.
Oh, yeah.
And that is in the Drink Spotter Chill.
Of course.
My only regret is not having more metal stuff around me to stick this to.
That's what I've always said. That's what she said. What do you got there? Some sort of lime or something?
A Kirkland lime. It might even be better. I think it's better even out of the Drink Spotter Chill. It just makes it that much more delicious.
I'm having a Guy Fieri's Flavortown Huckleberry Cobbler.
Oh, my God.
Taking everyone to Flavortown.
Another flavor there.
Yeah.
Really let that guy cut loose.
Yeah.
The Flavor Factory.
Quick, get it back in the Drink Spotter Chill before it gets unchilled. There we go. This is a hell of a good product. We've been moving a lot of Drink Spotter Chills, one of our most affordable products on our website. Don't forget to snag one of these. If you couldn't tell, it's got really high power magnets on the back, so you can affix it to any metal surface.
A lot of people are buying 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things at a time, and I think
5's the record so far.
That's a smart buy right there.
Yeah. That is a tasty beverage out of there. Okay, what do we want to get into, though, this week? We got a little time here to talk some stuff.
Yeah, let's look up the old to-do list here. I'm trying to think of... I don't know. All my stuff's pretty random. It's not very Massenomics relevant, so...
Okay.
I don't know if we have more...
Well... Okay, I've got a couple fun games to come up, but these games are going to take too long. They wouldn't be a good fit for this episode. I got this little teaser in upcoming episodes. I got a couple real fun games we're going to stick to Tommy and see how he performs on those. So
I got one thing. I got one thing right here that if we got those on hold, and I'm just catching eyes of it. You got this too. I got a little sack, a little package this week.
Oh yeah,
and I see yours appears to be more assembled, but mine showed up in this box. And from our old buddy Darko.
Yep.
Of course, I recognized that address right away when it showed up. But I won't bring it all out here, but he did send over his mini racks with all of his 2-scale barbells, attachments.
There's a Voltra, there's a drink spotter, there's a dip attachment.
There's plates. And then, of course... There's a whole rack in there, too.
Oh, you got a black one.
Yeah. Was yours? Oh, yeah. Yours is red. Oh, yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yep. I got a black. Oh, yeah. Because I have a black rack, obviously.
Oh, that's probably. And mine are red.
Yeah. Darko, he doesn't skimp on the details. He knows
you don't slip anything past that guy, do you?
But what's crazy? So he has these mini racks on his website. And if you watch the gym tour with him, he was just getting ready to launch these things. So you can see a few of them in there. But what's kind of cool about these things is, as far as I understand it, they are 100% to scale, right? Like there wasn't any artistic liberties taken, I believe.
No.
And it uses actual real hardware, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's nuts and little bolts for each.
Like the barbell is a real metal shaft here. Like
and I mean, I've assembled multiple 3x3 racks in my day, and you assemble it exactly like you do the big one. Only it's just way down to scale.
Yeah, here's the bag of bolts there. It's pretty cool. So
I actually just Jake just said it in the live chat, but I need to set some horse stall mat coasters underneath of mine to make it really like a little home gym.
Yes, do.
I posted a video today of me assembling the whole thing.
Oh, you did?
I stayed up. Yeah, I stayed up late last night to assemble it, and I did a time lapse of.
Oh man,
assembling it.
Jeez, I don't go on the internet for one afternoon. I miss out on everything.
Yep. Sweet. So I stayed. It takes a little while to put it together.
Oh yeah,
though.
that's why that's why I hadn't cracked into this yet, because I did not want to get halfway and quit.
And those are for sale now on Darko's site. What is Darko?
DarkoLifting.com, I believe.
Yeah. So, and then what are they called? The mini rack by Darko.
I think so.
And you can select 4-post or 6-post options. You can get the hardware in black or stainless steel. You can choose like 12 different colors for the uprights and cross members. You can pick your plate color, black or silver. There's all these little add-ons that you can get. It's quite wild. The tiny little drink spotter, and it's got a tiny little Darko can in it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So thank you, Darko. One day I'll be like Tanner and have mine put together somewhere.
As I was putting it together, and you go through all the parts, I'm like, how is this even his time is not being compensated for what he's selling these for, because I'm like, that would take so long to even just sort it all out and
I know
get all the tiny little parts right.
This just shows how little I know about 3D printing, but I genuinely am actually impressed that with 3D printing, you can do something as detailed as this miniature 3x3 upright. I'm trying to get this to focus on the camera. It's so little, but that it actually has the whole, I mean, it's like Lego quality. Like the holes are cut that well. Like it's not, it doesn't seem like it was made by a 3D printer. It's pretty cool.
I'll say this too. I obviously played with Legos as a kid. I played with Erector sets quite a bit, and it felt exactly like I was doing that stuff. You just sit there, although you don't need any directions, because especially if you own a rack, you kind of know how a rack goes together. Yeah. So there's really no step-by-step directions like that you need, but it felt just like doing that. Mm-hmm. Like it was exactly the same as that. It takes you back a little bit. So this is like the total evolution of home gym nerd status. I would say this is like to the 10th degree
from
home
having
gym
the big
nerd
version
stuff
to now needing the little version that you also have to assemble.
Yes, this is the home gym nerdiest of home gym nerd stuff. And I like it. It's awesome. Yeah. I thought about putting it in the gym, but it's pretty petite, and like there's a lot of brutes in there. I'm just not sure where it would go that it wouldn't get destroyed. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I would walk in the next day and it would be broken somehow.
Good chance.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. I was excited about that. What was this you had? Did you do your InBody scan?
Oh yeah, we can talk. Yeah, I actually kind of forgot about that one. Okay, when we went to the Watertown Throwdown,
Build Fast Formula HQ
in prep for this year's Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. What was that, about 3 weeks ago now? 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Something like that. The Thomases have an InBody machine. Last year, I'm pretty sure, I don't know the full rules on InBody and how it all works and everything. We talked about it a little bit last year and compared some of our numbers and things. I still had the app on my phone, and after we were done lifting, I went and typed my stuff in and did the scan. And again, I don't think we're doing it totally. I think you're supposed to do it dry, kind of first thing in the morning in an ideal situation, I think. And both times it's been like after a workout when you're chugging water, pre-workout, whatever. Right. So I'm sure it's not as accurate as it could be, but just as a quick note from last year, my weight is up 9 pounds year over year, which doesn't surprise me.
Jag. That's putting on a jag.
That's that's getting after it a little bit. So my weight's up 9 pounds. My skeletal muscle mass was up about 3.5 pounds, which then means my body fat would also be up about 5-ish pounds, 4 pounds, 4.5, 5 pounds. So fat was up a little bit, muscle was up a little bit, but that's okay. We can cut some fat out when we need to. No big deal there. Did say my body fat percentage went from, it said 17 to 18.3. So again, nothing that concerns me too much, but did find that interesting. The other more detailed part, and again, I don't know. I have no clue how accurate InBody actually is, but what stood out to me from the first comparison was that according to InBody, and I can't find the exact thing here, but according to InBody, like my upper body, my right and left arm had both gotten, where do you actually see? Oh, here we go. I can't, the app has so much stuff in it, but, I remember what surprised me the most was it said that my legs had not changed at all. And I'm like, I know for a fact my legs are significantly stronger than last year. Significantly stronger. So I don't know. Maybe I haven't put any mass on them. I'm just better at expressing that strength. It seems a little odd, but it did say that I had gained some mass on my arms according to the InBody scan. Again, not sure how true that is, but I did find that to be interesting looking at it. So we'll check in again next year, see how these numbers look.
All them cottage cheese games.
It's right there. It's your cottage cheese testimonial.
All the glory to cottage cheese.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
What about a little supporting our supporting members?
Do it.
Should we toss that in here? All right. Supporting our supporting members is a relatively new segment to the Massenomics podcast where we give back to those that support the podcast. They support the podcast by going to massenomics.com/join and signing up to become a supporting member. When you get there, you'll find there's a whole bunch of different levels that you can sign up for. There's basically a level for everyone. The only level that's not for someone is no level at all. You just got to get on some level. Get on the ground level, get on the highest floor level. It doesn't really matter. Just get on a level with the supporting membership. And what I would say, if you are an existing supporting member and your address has changed, it's changed since you last signed up or since you've ever sent me an address change. If it's changed since then, make sure to DM us your new address so that we can change it in our system, because there's going to be a big crew mailer coming later this year. I mean, not that much later this year, later this summer, where we send something out to every single supporting member. And I don't want to get cocky. I don't want to be overconfident about it, but it might just be the coolest thing that we've ever sent. We've sent some pretty cool stuff before, and this might be the coolest, might get people talking the most. So 2 warnings there. Make sure we have your right address if you're already a supporting member. And if you're not a supporting member yet, for the love of God, get signed up.
What are you waiting for?
Now is your opportunity to get signed up. The right time is now. If you waited and missed out on this, you would seriously be kicking yourself. And I would feel bad. I don't want that for anyone. Like
I couldn't imagine anything worse.
I can't bear to have that on my conscience if somebody doesn't get signed up in time. I feel like we failed. Like this has all been for nothing. If you're a listener and you've been considering getting signed up and you don't get signed up now,
it'd be a real shame.
Like where did we go wrong? Like I'll be questioning everything we've ever done in the last 10 years if that's what this boils down to. So massenomics.com/join. There's other things there like it's how you get in our Discord. It's how you listen along to the podcast live. It's how you listen to the pre-show. The pre-show is the show before the show. It's live, unrecorded, uncut. And the only way you listen to that, it's where we bring out all the grease too. All the greasy stuff that we have to dish on comes out in the pre-show because it never gets recorded. And you can check that out if you're a supporting member. And then we like to shout out some of them in return. So this week, Big Sam lifted the Galloway stone in Ohio.
That was very cool.
Yeah, had a little road rash on his arm to prove it. Big Jen competed in, I believe, her first strongman competition. She won the car deadlift event and finished 3rd overall in her class.
Nice.
All in preparation for the Lift Hard, Live Easy Classic strongman event. Big Paul and Big Berg had a crew meetup in Spain.
Yeah, that was very cool.
An unplanned crew meetup.
No, it was
in Spain. Paul just saw him wearing Massenomics stuff.
Paul's always so sarcastic and everything.
Yeah.
I assumed when he said unplanned that he meant it was totally planned.
No.
Oh.
He couldn't even remember what his name was. It was Big Berg. That It was an unplanned. He saw him wearing
Leaves the country,
Massenomics
runs
lifting
into people in
department tee.
Massenomics gear. We're always going
Yeah.
all over the country doing stuff. We don't see a single person that knows us outside of planned visits.
Right. So that's pretty cool. And then Big Scar was this week's guest on Unpaid and Underrated. So go give that a listen. She's preparing for the powerlifting meet at the Lift Hard Live Easy Classic. So we got a lot of strong women competing this year. A lot of strong supporting members. So thank you for everyone that supports and continues to support.
I'm still just in shock that was a random meetup that they both had. That was
In Spain.
The way the way I just thought for sure that was planned. Wow.
Isn't that? And Paul wasn't even wearing anything Massenomics. Let that be a lesson. Always wear something Massenomics because you never know when and where you might meet up with someone.
Wow. Impressive stuff.
Yeah. Should we do a certified training facility of the week?
Yeah, while you were talking, I was just kind of clicking around randomly.
Okay,
and I think I landed on one that I do want to look at here. But just one observation. We don't have any gyms in the Southern Hemisphere. Are you aware of that, Tanner?
Oh, have you heard about this, guys?
Have you heard about this? You know about this? So what?
We don't have an Australian one? Come
No,
on,
I know.
Australia.
I know.
Like that's where it's going to come from to get us in the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
That's odd almost, isn't it?
That's
that we don't
I
have
thought
a
for
single
sure we
one
would
in
have
the
Australia because we send a fair number of product to
Yeah.
Australia. Like that's
Maybe someone from South America could get in on it, but Australia, you got to carry us on this one.
yeah, like Australia is where that's where the Southern Hemisphere transactions are taking place. So one note there. Second note, no one from New Mexico or Maine has taken us up on our offer yet to be the certified training facility featured next week. So,
And if you sign up from New Mexico or Maine, you automatically get on as a certified. We'll also say this, or Australia.
Yes,
Anyone
or
Southern Hemisphere too. Yeah.
well,
Southern-
and you do have to
Southern
provide pictures of your gym, otherwise we can't talk about it.
Right.
So,
Right. True.
but
that's important.
those are pretty easy steps to do. That's not that complicated. You just go to the Massenomics website, get this taken care of, and you can be featured next week. Otherwise, you're leaving it open to all these other people.
And we do have some certified training facility packages available. You just head over to massenomics.com/certified. That's where you can, find more information about getting certified. You get your pin on the map, get yourself a certificate, a flag, some limited editions stickers that are only for certified training facilities. And the map looks awesome. We shout one out every week. I think last week we were at Spanky's Wad Barn.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we headed this week?
Okay, this week, just clicking around, I was looking at the Atlanta area.
Hotlanta.
Atlanta is what I was thinking in my head, and I believe this is
boy.
big Justin
Now,
Holland.
that's a certified.
And
that's a certified training
this
facility
gym
right
caught
there.
my
isn't it?
attention. Do you see why?
It looks awesome.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's pull this up. He's got two photos here. They both look great. And on the first one here, so this is a basement, right? An unfinished basement.
Let me take a little look. I was adding the. What do we got? Oh, we got to be a basement for sure. Look at that all that. Well, yeah, I don't know. I suppose so.
I'm assuming it is. It seems
Yep.
like it'd be a basement.
Seems basement vibes
Okay,
for sure.
couple things. Just looking. We'll just start before we get to the equipment. Okay, so we're saying basement.
Oh, he's got multiple photos here too. He's got two
yes,
photos, I guess.
yes. So we got the horse stall mats on the floor, obviously, because it's a
With
quality
the black
home gym.
Gorilla Tape.
Yep, black Gorilla Tape. We got about every Massenomics
I was gonna
banner
say, holy
flag
crap.
item that's ever existed. And I don't know if you've noticed, Tanner, but it looks like he's used the PVC frame technique that you have. Can you see that if you make them really big?
Oh,
You see what I'm talking about?
great! That is, yep. That's why they look so crisp on
Yes.
the wall too.
Yes.
For anyone that doesn't know the trick, you make a frame out of, especially for flag. It works especially great for flags. You make a frame out of like 1/2-inch PVC with just 4 elbows and 4 straight pieces, and make it a little bit bigger than the flag itself. And then you use zip ties to you drill holes through the elbows in the PVC elbows, and then zip tie 'em, and you get them really taut flags out of that look really crisp all the time.
Yeah, so it looks like he has that on all of his banners in the gym. So that makes them look awesome. And then he has those Barina shop lights that so many people have for his lighting, which also makes it nice and bright down there too, to add another level. So that's without even talking about equipment. He's already checking all the boxes here. Once we start looking at equipment, Tanner, if you want to look at your favorite spot, the foreground, you will notice there's a deadlift jack. A deadlift jack covered in Massenomics stickers as well. There is on the wall I'm seeing, it looks like the Rogue Arnold deep dishes, but it looks like he's done a little customization to those. Do you see that on the wall there right behind the deadlift jack?
Oh, yeah, they're painted.
Which is pretty unique. He's got a bunch of bars on the wall. I see a safety squat bar, a curl bar.
What the hell's behind the barbell rack on the wall?
That Massenomics.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I was actually just hoping you would know what that is. He's got something with our logo on it that we don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Did he ever order
a flag?
Some people,
you know what it looks like is the
OG
I have
banner.
A singlet that looks like that almost. That it looks like a singlet almost.
Well, yeah, but it looked. I wonder because some people have ordered the OG banner and asked for different colors over the years. Is it possible?
Also different size.
Well, yeah, and they've also asked for different sizes too. Is it possible he did that? Maybe.
Yeah, that's possible. I don't know.
It's funny that we don't know what we're looking at though. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's got the Titan SSB. He's got the Earthquake band or Earthquake Rhino-Flex.
Yep.
Rhino-Flex bar.
Got some different
Easy Curl bar.
Yep. Some different Arnold posters. I see some crash pads. Bunch of different.
Is that a plate-loaded chest press machine on the other side?
I was thinking it looks like that, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say that's a plate-loaded adjustable bench chest press of some sort.
We got a red 6-post rack in the middle of the gym. Some more weights on that. Going back farther, I think there's like a hack squat. Maybe that's a hack squat leg press combo, maybe.
You know, look at the second picture that he's got.
Oh, yeah, I keep looking at this first one here. What else we got?
And then look at what's the Massenomics thing on the wall, like to the right of the picture behind the rack, the red Massenomics. It's like half a OG logo there.
Oh, it's the mirror. It's the mirror reflecting.
Okay.
Yeah, from the OG.
Again, I'm like, what's he got all these secret Massenomics things that we don't know about?
Yeah, that's the mirror reflecting the banner on the other side of the room.
Yeah, he's got the monolift hook attachments on his rack there. It's hard to say. Would you say a hack squat? It's hard to almost tell what's back. It's a very long room.
Yeah, I think
it's a long, narrow room.
I think it's a hack squat. It might be a hack squat leg press combo because it kind of looks like because it has the shoulder pads up top, but it looks like there's a seat in the bottom of it too, which makes you think there's both. From the one photo, you can see he has the Rogue, looks like the Rogue quick draw dumbbells. Or sorry, the rep quick draws, which are pretty nice dumbbells. Like I could, if you're fine with your dumbbells going up to like 60 or 65, whatever it is, I think those are a very compelling option. Then he's got a TV. I'm sure he watched a lot of the Massenomics podcast on there or gym tours because of what else would he watch, obviously.
Right, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit most of the highlights there.
Yeah, really what I'm wondering, it's actually brought up a few questions, but the primary one I'm thinking, do you think he could get strong there, Tommy?
You know, I have no doubts that you could get quite strong in this gym.
Oh, yeah, we could get strong as hell in there for sure. I like it. That's why they call it a certified training facility.
Don't give that to just anyone.
No, they don't just give those away, do they?
No, they literally do not give those away.
You have to buy it at Massenomics.com. And if you have not become a certified training facility, I'm looking, our stack of flags is actually pretty small right now. We may need to do a reorder, but maybe we won't. So if you haven't signed up, I just got one other question.
Now what the hell are you waiting for?
And actually, if you are signed up, don't forget to send photos in.
Yeah, good call.
Because I'm clicking on a lot of these gyms and they don't have their photos, which makes it really hard to talk about your damn gym.
There are more people that continue to send photos, but please make sure you have, and don't wait for it to be perfect. It doesn't need.
No, most people just put a cell phone photo. Just stand in one corner of your gym, take a photo.
Yep. Get me some photos of your gym, and we'll get them added to that map. Because every photo we add, it just makes it look that much cooler. I think it just makes the browsing of that page even that much cooler.
Our guest has arrived, Tanner. Do you want to read an ad, and I'll start giving people the boot here?
Let's do it. Bust these punks out of here. And while he's doing that, I'll make sure that everyone checks out buildfastformula.com. It's the supplements that Tommy and I both use and trust. We trust them because we use them. We use them because we trust them. Based out of South Dakota, much like a fine podcast I know, they use formulas that just work. It's that simple. We enjoy their Vaso Blitz, is their nitric oxide support pre-workout, non-caffeinated pre-workout, and then also their full blitz, fully loaded pre-workout supplement. Try out either of those. Also try out their 80/20 protein powder. When you check out, you can use discount code Massenomics on every single order there. It'll save you 10% every single time. If you order over $100, there's free shipping in the U.S., and if you sign up for a subscription on any product, you save an additional 10%, so you can get 20% off by doing that with discount code Massenomics. Check them out at buildfastformula.com. So we got our guest here, Big Alex Bromley. We're excited to get you on. We got to meet you at the Arnold really briefly this year for just a couple minutes. We got to say hi, to get you to do a grip test, and then you were competing there, so we didn't get to talk too long. And we didn't get to ask you our number one question. We're just going to jump right into it. We're not going to beat around the bush. What would you consider to be the squat of the upper body?
Obviously, it's bent over dip rows with an upright snatch variation. That is how you sufficiently hit. Anyways.
So I ask you that because we had an odd amount of discussion about it a week or two ago on the podcast, where we had posted this joke of a reel and said, bench press, the squat of the upper body. And the number of people that came out that had pretty strong opinions on whether that was true or whether it's something else, and like very opinionated responses on it. So what if you did had to pick an exercise? What would you say is the squat of the upper body, and why would you pick that?
That's pretty hard. It's because the funny thing is, I don't even think squats are the squats of the lower body. So,
you might
great
be onto
wrinkle
something there.
Yeah, I like that already. Yeah.
No, I mean, if we're going to talk about one lift that's going to encapsulate like what we think of that as doing, where you have so much range of motion, so many muscles hit, and you get just so much economy and bang for the buck. There's going to be a lot of people that say it's a dip, and those people are wrong. I would.
We agreed with that. We agree.
Yeah. And I have a hard time going with a pressing exercise, honestly, because there's just so much more musculature in the upper back. Unfortunately, unlike the lower body, you can't hit all of the musculature of your upper body in one movement. Without some technology we haven't stumbled across yet. So I would go, and I think I had a video title as such, as far as bent rows being the like squats for your upper body.
Okay, you did. Okay.
Yeah, because you have, that's why I appreciate the joke. I was like, oh, he's seen some of my video titles.
Oh, we definitely have, but I didn't see that one. Yeah.
I think I've recycled that title like 4 or 5 times. But yeah, if you look at a bench press, you're going to get people complaining about the limit in functionality, and that you're so supported and you're laying down. I mean, it's the odd duck in powerlifting and most strength sports because you're supported. Yes, it's good at building a lot of mass in the pressing muscles, but there's some limitations that way. I love overhead pressing. I love it. It's my bread and butter. It's a great exercise. If you want strength that transfers over in those muscles, like that's great. But as far as a percentage of your upper body, not really. There's just so much meat in your upper body. And if there's one part of it to look at that says that's where most of your power size yokedness comes from, it's going to be your traps, lats, all the way down through your rectors. So yeah, I think that's an easy one.
All right, good. Finally, we settled it.
I know that was a joke question, but I took it way too seriously.
No, that's actually that's actually exactly what we wanted. That joke question is kind of derived from something that we asked many people for several times, and I'll ask you this too. I think your answer could be interesting also. If someone was to walk into the gym, you've never seen this lifter train before, and it's your job to determine how generally strong they are. And in order to determine how generally strong they are, all you get to do is watch them perform one single lift. What lift do you choose to watch them do to make your best, to arrive at what you think is going to be the best conclusion based on only one lift?
And so I'm trying to predict like how they're going to do in like generally everything.
Yeah, like we could even say, we usually don't say, oh, they're a power lifter, they're a strongman competitor, but we could even make that assumption, say like they compete in strongman even, and you just want to watch them. You only get to watch them do one lift to be able to determine how much success they could have, whether they're novice, experienced, whatever. You don't even know yet. So
Sure. The low hanging fruit would be just to have them do a deadlift. Because I mean, you can tell a lot about somebody's like hinging is so important to strongman. You get to see exactly, where they're strong, where they're weak based on how much give they have in their back and how strong their lockout is. You can make a lot of deductions about which points are going to carry over more to events or less. But if I'm really trying to extrapolate a lot of information from just that one lift, I might have to go with something a little fancier. I would probably have to have them do something that had more range. So it'd be like a steep deficit, or it'd be something like a God, I hate this. I hate to say this. I'd probably go with something like a Zercher,
yeah,
like a deadlift, like a deficit deadlift into a Zercher or something, and you'll just get a lot of information about where they are along the chain.
yeah.
That is good. Have we ever had Zercher as a suggestion before on this, Tanner? Maybe
Zercher is a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if we
it's
have
hard
or
to
not,
cheat
but I
those
kind of
in any way.
right.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with like, I don't know. I can barely tie my shoes, but you got guys that can like start with their elbows in from the ground, and I would go with like the straight. I don't know the technical. It's just a Zercher lift, I guess. A
Right.
deadlift, setting it on the legs, re-gripping,
Right.
then standing up, because you kind of get the deadlift strength paired with the squat strength, and it's a little unique when it's in the front. It's a lot like keg loads and so on. So yeah, final answer,
All right.
Zerchers.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that. The thing that always is that I always wonder about, just, if you just say deadlift, because that's a popular-ish response, but the concern there is some people, I mean, it's true for any lift, but some people are so built to deadlift, like what is their pressing ability? What is their squatting ability even at that point or whatever? I don't know, but you can analyze that 100 different ways too. But I like the Zercher answer.
Yeah, and I do analyze it 100 different ways, which is why I have very strong opinions about like the minutia of technique, where people are getting mad because I spend too much time picking apart, lifting mechanics. But even if you have one of those lanky a-holes, like go to limit, I mean, reasonably, you can say like that's a lot of weight on the bar. But, because of physics, I know that if, your hamstrings really have to work by themselves, or their glutes really have to work by themselves, that you can deduce a lot from that.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, we do have several other training questions, if you can consider what we're asking you so far training questions. But you've kind of alluded to a couple things that we really want to talk to you about is your content, your YouTube, your everything you put out there. We've got several questions around that. We're particularly interested in that ourselves because, we've been posting to YouTube quite a bit lately and trying to grow that over the last couple of years. And you do a really good job running a successful YouTube channel. You got a lot of video. You have very consistent content, a lot of content, and have had a lot of good success with a lot of your videos that you've made. And we got a lot of questions about it also, but just generally, how long have you been attacking that the way that you are now? Like maybe when you first started your channel, you weren't as intentional as you are now. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but how long have you been like doing it with this kind of intent that you do now, obviously?
Yeah, actually, it's been pretty much from the start, and I was lucky the way that it went off. I want to say it was 2017 or 18 was my first one, and I owned a gym, a strongman gym in California at the time, and I had the luxury of having all this equipment to demo on. I would kick people out, like, "Hey, I got to film. Like, I don't need you seeing my outtakes. Get out." Or I'd come in late or whatever, and I'd have the whiteboard. It looked like a greasy frying pan, like I'd be writing on the dirty whiteboard. But no, when I started it, it was kind of a mission to do it consistently. I had like dicked around with blogs and stuff in the past. It was ever consistent, but I liked the video format. And then I got a surprisingly good response in the beginning, just from simple explainers. And then it's just been like, I mean, I've always done multiple videos a week if I'm able to. And I mean, I'm consistent now, but even now I'm like, I don't even know that this is the most I've been like, nose to the grindstone. COVID, I mean, I'm one of those guys that was like, oh yeah, COVID was great, freeways were empty and I got so much stuff done.
Yeah.
But really it was like I was in a unique position to capitalize on that, and that's when it's like that's when I was like, there's something wrong with my brain, because if I have an open office, I can't get anything done. But if I was stuck in my room for 8 hours because my wife was doing, her work remote from the living room and, taking calls, and I had to be in our bedroom in our 1 bedroom apartment, like typing and writing, whatever. Like I got 3 books turned out at that time. And I haven't been able to write one since. So, and that's just been it. It's been just the consistency and trying to evolve things and figure out different ways to not suck online.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job not sucking, I would say.
I appreciate that.
It is good.
Opinions vary, but I appreciate that.
But I'm curious about, because you do talk about it, like the way your mind works and some of that stuff. And I would say from watching, your mind does work differently than what the typical person does. And like the level of detail you get into on some of that. So are you, what's the process? Are you writing that stuff? Is that all off the cuff, or what? How much time do you have into a video because of the level of detail? I'm just wondering what your process is, because it seems like you'd have a lot of time into it, but you're pumping out so many that you've got to have a formula down that works pretty well for you to be able to keep at it.
One would think.
Okay.
One would think. No, and it's my biggest problem, and especially after so many years of being on my own, there's a lot of value in, I think, having partners and even a boss, dare I say, for this exact reason, because I've been on my own. I keep running into the same problem of not being able to stay on one thing. I like to experiment. I like to try other things. I have ideas pop in and out, whatever. So there was a time where I'm like, I'm just doing video essays, and those I would research, and then I would script, and then I would and a lot of it's stuff I have in my head. Some of it's stuff I learned for the first time as I'm researching. And some really hardy ones would take like 10 days to put out start to finish.
Okay.
Like I just did one on Soviet programming.
Yes.
It's kind of like that. Yeah. And that one I got done pretty fast, actually. I think I'm getting better at leveraging stuff to help with that. But then if I'm doing a whiteboard video, I can get that out in a couple of hours, provided I have the house to myself, or talking head stuff where I just have I don't have one thing. So the process is always a bit different. I am probably, I would guess, better when I'm scripted, just because, and that's why there's detail. I can't not put things in that I know about this thing. Like I just can't. It's like that Big Bang Theory episode where, Leonard has to wear the wool coat to see what it feels like to be Sheldon. From not returning the DVD to Blockbuster or whatever, I get itchy. I'm scratchy, no, I have to say this. So it's all super wordy, and I repeat the same thing 10 times, and I plug in, do little asides that aren't there. So there's a lot of info to anybody who's interested, but I definitely get broader appeal when I can be nope, let's stay on track, guy. We got one thing to talk about.
Is there a certain style of those videos that you prefer to make, that you have more fun, or just it's a better time to do?
Yeah, no, I love all of them. They're all like my children in kind of a messed up way, because they all let me do something different, And again, I'd probably be exponentially more successful if I did stay on one thing, and had that kind of predictability and that target that audience. But I like lecturing, man. I'm in the process, I'm trying to slowly eke out a degree in the next 10 years. I don't know. So when I retire, I can teach. I like just being in front of class, oh, hey, I got an hour to talk. I can do that. And nobody loves lecturing more than when they actually have experience and know something. It doesn't matter what it is, how boring it is. So I really do like that stuff. I like venting my shower thoughts as to the chagrin of some of my viewers. So when something crawls up my butt and I want to yell about it for 20 minutes, I'll do that. And then I like being creative. Recently I've been trying to do some drawing stuff, I haven't drawn since I was a teenager. So I've been trying that different formats of my videos. Some of them people really liked, some of them people really hated. But the video essays are fun because I can be kind of creative and I can go deeper on a subject. That's where I learned a lot of stuff too. So yeah, it's really a mixed bag.
Yeah. And so with, with your content, obviously being kind of around the strength world, but covering a diverse variety of topics, you can cover a lot of ground. Do you keep sort of a log of here's rough ideas, or is it nope, this idea kind of hit me this week, let's roll with this?
Yeah, I am always forever trying to have that organization. It's that search for that system that I'll never get. And it's honestly part of my process where every couple of weeks, probably, I end up trying to revisit old stuff and get something from all my notes and thoughts compiled. Try to marry what I know worked well before with this other idea that I have and see if I can make it work. I would say probably half the time I'll have 10 videos on deck and I'll ditch it to do something else. And then when I don't have any ideas, I'll go to something that I pulled out before. So it really is a mixed bag. But I mean, you see I have multiple whiteboards behind me. I can't think unless something's in front of my face. So I have to erase it for stuff like this so people don't think I'm schizophrenic. And then that's it. I'm just constantly writing things down. And then when it's time to make something, it's just kind of on the fly, assuming current events haven't like captured my attention.
Right. And then when it comes to playing the game of YouTube, like how much thought process, time, effort are you putting into the title, the thumbnail, that concept?
So a lot overall, but probably not as much as people think, or at least not in the way that people think. Like my mission is to grow. Like I'm adamant that I'm going to cover things I want to cover. Like if I found out tomorrow that I could be like rich as shit, but all I have to do is pivot to like Athlete and X videos where everything's killing your gains, I probably wouldn't do that because I wouldn't enjoy it. So it has to meet some requirement where I think I'm of service and doing something that is satisfying or at the very least entertaining. But beyond that, I'm trying to figure out how I can service a wider audience. Gets a little tricky doing that with the comments because you're close with people either in the comments or in the Discord or whatever. Social media makes it easy to do that, and you get a lot of feedback. But really, the best way I know that I'm servicing people is, okay, did a lot of people watch it? Did a lot of people like it? Did it meet my standards? So I live in there. And honestly, the algorithm really, it mostly is, at least as far as I'm concerned. It's different if you're Mr. Beast and you're actually able to get 75% of the audience to watch your whole video. But that's rare. I mean, I've experimented. The long form video I just did, the bodybuilding video that was an hour and 45 minutes, it took me like a month to make. Whiteboard videos, it took me 45 minutes. They all clock about the same view retention by percentage, which is bizarre. It really comes down to the topic and the title and thumbnail. So if the topic's interesting and if I can frame it in an interesting way, and really the thumbnail, it's stupid stuff like color and contrast or recognizing who's on. So I spend an exorbitant amount of time on that. And I've had big turnarounds. I've had videos that were sucking where all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, it took off. And it's like, I think the information's good, but people don't know. Where it doesn't really come in, it's a lot of people mistakenly think that when I'm like being an argumentative prick about the 10th Nippert video I made or something about exercise science or whatever, they're like, he's just doing it for clicks. He's playing the algorithm. It's like, no, I'm really like argumentative and kind of petty. And those videos will get like 20,000 views. It's like I have video essays that have gotten a few million. So it's definitely not for the sake of my family or my income. I can tell you that. That's satisfying a different urge.
Yeah. So do you, would you say you're controversial at times, like you said, argumentative? Would you use like word, is the content ever controversial, or like what would you use that word or not?
I would. I mean, anytime people have strong opinions one way or another and you firmly land yourself on one side of the fence, that counts as controversy. I think the question is, am I intentionally doing something to rustle jimmies? Even then, like I think if you have a megaphone and you say you never have it go through your head, like as you're putting something out there, like anticipating the blowback and you have your responses ready. It's like getting ready for I'm not going to say a fight because I can't relate to that. I don't know. Exactly. It's like getting ready for a game of ping pong or something. I don't know. But no, you get kind of, it scratches an itch. I enjoy writing paragraphs, and unfortunately, again, do so in the comments because it's like practice for me, and I indulge in it way too much. But controversy is definitely part of it. But I don't think that that's really a dominant force in like why I have opinions I have or what I choose to settle on.
Yeah, that makes sense. What about the something I like from watching more of your videos is the animation that you do? The drawing. How long does that take? How much like if you're putting out a video, how much of the time does that part of it take you?
Yeah, so it takes a while, but it's easier in a sense. I just started doing that, I don't know, a month or a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, people like this. And I'm like, I'm having fun. And I spent like 3 weeks like trying to figure out like an animator software. And I put together this monstrosity that was like 20 years of pent up creative energy that just had nowhere to go. And it was a big wet flop, but I had fun, so I don't care. Anyways, if I'm doing a regular video, even if it's something that's all B-roll and I'm pulling most of it off of my old training footage, stuff on YouTube, Google Images, whatever it is, even though that's technically easier, it's like busy work and it can take a long time. And then because it is kind of low effort, I'll make it high effort by trying to find the perfect clip or like, no, there's this thing I saw 15 years ago. I need to find it because that's appropriate to this right now. So the drawing, it's like I get an idea for something I think is funny and then, or whatever, and then I can draw it. I mean, I can illustrate like lifting diagrams pretty well, pretty fast. I think that isn't that, it's not that intensive. And then as I go about it, I get other ideas and that kind of spawns things off and it kind of leads it. And I actually think, again, I'm like really visual. I need things in front of me. I get a lot of the ideas for like, what a joke is going to be or what analogy I'm going to use. Like visual representations, I think help a lot anyways to get people to understand more complex ideas. So if I can make it kind of entertaining and funny, it's like I can do that. So I get in the habit, like if I need it noise free, because my wife and kid are at home most of the day, I go to Barnes and Noble, I take my tablet, I'll get an Americano, and I'll be there for like 7 hours straight, and I won't look up from the tablet. And as far as I'm concerned, I had fun because I haven't been able to do something like that intensively since I was a kid. But it services this really well. So I want to say, I don't know, I did one like, I don't know, 6 barbell nerfs that are actually overpowered or something like that. And that one, I mean, it wasn't my best drawings ever, but it served the purpose. That didn't take more than a couple days. Where again, like this last one I did, I mean, I probably spent 4 days just like compiling footage and quotes and B-roll and messing with graph. And anyway, so yeah, it's hard, but in a different way.
That's cool. Here's switching gears. If you could only pick one of these very general 2 training styles, and you had to use that general style for the rest of your life, that's the only way you could train. Would you choose Jeff Nippard style science-based training, or would you choose Eric Buge's horse cocking training? And you could only do one for the rest of your life.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah, I do Jeff Nippard's just because I know how injury prone I am, and I just call it something else. I just say there was no evidence involved in this. This is bodybuilding. It's been like this for 50 years.
Do you enjoy Jeff's content?
I mean, for considering I'm not even like technically like in that hypertrophy space specifically. Right. So I've probably made a disproportionate amount of comments responding to stuff he's put out. But I think I actually do. Like, I think he's smart. I don't think he's given particularly bad advice. I think my bugaboo has always been that it's just leaning on evidence because it's good for marketing, because putting science in the title, it's the same reason you put science on supplements and books or whatever else you're trying to sell. It's extraordinarily good for getting engagement because people have faith that this is the thing that's going to do exactly what you say it's going to do. But it creates the precedent of having people try to pull out of research things that you just can't pull out of research. That everybody in the field knows except the people that are on YouTube. And the consumers don't seem to really know either. Anyway, so as far as are you going to get gains like doing any of that stuff? Sure. I mean, if you replace your bench pressing for like the weird turning cable thing, like probably not. But any program that has a variety of exercises can tolerate a little bit of bullshit anyways. And that's one of the reasons you do multiple exercises and so much volume and so on is it creates noise, so something may have been really effective or may have been kind of stupid, but you covered a lot of your bases. And it's like, as long as the fundamentals are good, I mean, he tells people to train hard, you're doing a decent amount of work and you're actually going hard. It's really hard to mess that up. It just really is. There's too many right answers.
That's We were hoping for more controversial take than that, but I guess we'll make that work.
Team Wick. Team Wick.
Yeah, there you go. You mentioned you got maybe a 1-year-old in the household. You mentioned it there earlier. We're both fathers to a whole bunch of little kids ourselves.
All right.
This episode will come out on Father's Day. Do you have any advice for a lifter that's going to be a new father, like someone that's maybe hasn't had a baby in the home and they got one on the way as a father, to be able to, as related to training?
Sure. Everybody's situation is going to be different depending on how much you have to be involved. If whether or not you work, or if you're there for that period of time where you're just getting no sleep. And we have neighbors that their daughter is a couple months older than my son, and like they still can't get her to sleep, and they're still they still have to give her a bottle when she goes down, and they have to sleep with her, and it's hard. And she's like the sweetest little thing. And it's difficult because every child is so different, and you're just holding on by a thread trying to, get to the next moment. And we were fortunate with our son for a couple of different reasons. Some of it might be temperament. Some of it might be some strategies we tried. I don't know. But all I can tell you is that have no expectations for what your schedule is going to be like. You might get more sleep that you thought you would get. You might actually realize you never knew what sleep deprivation actually felt like. And then there's going to be a mix of days. You'll have, better days and worse days or whatever. So I think that all lies in like the assumptions people have about lifting anyways. As long as you don't believe that you need a certain amount of sleep to grow, you do not. This cuts back to people overusing optimal in their titles, because people think, if it's not that, it's like, well, what's the point? It's like, I've known many in EMT, first responders, nurses, so on, people that work crazy shifts. I had a guy, he was a 650-pound bencher. He was a member of my gym, and he would come off of an overtime shift where he'd been up for like 36 hours. And he's like, I'm just going to get one in before I, go home and go to sleep. And so one, you don't need as much rest as you think you do to train. Two, it's probably okay for the sake and health of your family if you bias towards rest instead of just chasing another PR. If you are, there's some scary stories about moms that you don't realize until you become a parent, where when the sleep deprivation hits, you start hallucinating and stuff. It can get pretty wicked. So yeah, if your mental health is hanging in the balance, comebacks are super fast. Do not break down because you had to take time off. Do what you need to do. But if it's like, I'm just a bit tired, then there's also a case to be made where this is self-maintenance. Go get a workout. And again, as far as optimal goes, any just bullshit amount of work you get with one lift for a couple of sets is a billion times better than doing nothing at all. And you just can't get in the if I can't get a full workout, what's the point? It's like, no. The point is in 6 months, if you do nothing, you'll just turn into this wet frump of goo, where if you do one set twice a week, you will maintain a surprising amount of muscle mass, and actually maintain a surprising amount of body composition. So yeah, just completely throw your expectations out the window, get the bare minimum in when you can. There will be blue skies ahead.
Tommy, you'd probably maybe have your own opinion, but as someone that's been through it a few times before, I'd say that's great advice.
Yeah.
That's
right. I would even add in Tanner, I'm sure you can attest to this too, but even when you do one, for me, the first one was okay, yep, I got this down. And then we had a second kid and it was like, oh yeah, everything I thought doesn't apply to number two here. So even when you think you don't know.
True.
Yeah.
True.
How many kids you guys have?
I got 2.
And I have 4. So
4.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's yeah. I haven't earned this beard length yet.
But never stopped lifting. But sometimes takes more of a back seat. Sometimes it comes to part of the front seat. But I agree. You got to you keep doing what you can within reason, and don't freak out if it's going to be a little bit different. But keep doing what you can, and then. It's also very true. When you get to a point in your life when you have more time again, and you're already staying halfway on the horse, it's just that much easier to get all the way.
It was not that long ago on this podcast. It was about 6 months ago. I'm like, I tell you what, Tanner, it's everyone's sleeping good. Life is pretty normal. I feel like I got superpowers all of a sudden. Like training has never gone back. It makes you really appreciate the good days is what it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you took the weighted vest off.
Yes.
And you feel like,
The
I
weighted
can handle.
vest of
I
life.
can handle it. Yeah, I would just tell anybody just think of it this way: just keep one toe in the water. That's it.
Yeah.
Because on a day where you're able to, you can jump in. But if you abandon it too quickly, it is harder psychologically, I think, to get started. Just keep a toe in the water, and you'll be a-okay. You'll be super fine.
Yeah, that's good advice. Who is the strongest man ever in history, and why is it Louis Cyr?
I was waiting. I knew there was something at the end of that. Because obviously it's the French heritage, and the height. I mean, at 5'8", you're just unstoppable.
Tommy, you maybe haven't seen it, but you really should go watch this. Do you know what the title of that video is? I think it's a fairly recent one that you've got.
I changed it a few times because I really wanted people to see that. And nobody cared.
I loved it, and I'll tell you why that one was a particular note to me, because we have this interview with Kaz that's like 10 years. It's like 8 years old, from the Arnold 2018 or something like that. We interviewed Kaz, and one of the questions we asked him was, it's basically, I think, like, who's on your Mount Rushmore of strongmen all the time, or who's the great, I can't remember, who's the greatest, or that was the general thought that we were discussing. And he, talked about Brian Shaw. He talked about Z, talked about himself quite a bit, obviously, too. And whatever.
Shocking.
He said, yeah, right. He also went on to talk about giants that,
40 feet
from the book of Enoch, that were 40 foot tall, 200 foot tall, 60 foot tall, 100 foot tall men.
Well, I saw that. I actually saw that interview, and I can't remember. And I'm happy to talk to you guys now, because I can't remember if I actually used that or commented on it for another video.
Yeah.
But I mean, that just fits in exactly with everything I thought about Kaz, because he's like, I'd go backwards in time. And it's like, of course you would, because talent has gotten better. People are taller. They can move faster.
Yeah.
You go back to guys that were like, vaudeville performers in the 1800s. Like, of course you would. You'd have a ball.
Well,
it's the same guy that talks about the gap in points. Like, yes, you had no talent back then. That's why you talk about the gap in points. Numbers are numbers. The gap in points depends on who is there. So that's why people want to know. Yeah.
And that was I don't know what, that video performed fairly well for us. And it caught this group of people. I don't know how this was going around in this circle exactly.
Well, and we didn't know this was a thing either at the time. We were so naive.
It caught this group of people that are obsessed about Paul Anderson. That Paul Anderson was never mentioned even in the video. And there's probably 100 Paul Anderson comments on this video, that are like, oh, what about Paul Anderson? You forgot Paul Anderson. Paul Anderson is the greatest of all time. I don't know if you mentioned Paul Anderson in the Louis Cyr video, but like, do you have a Paul Anderson background at all?
So, well, I mean, loosely, because he gets mentioned enough. And it's like, I mean, when I was younger, the types of things I was reading, I was so desperate to find anything strength. And it's like, around 2000, it was like, there's bodybuilding stuff, and that was it. I mean, the first powerlifting USA I came across, I'm like, this is a thing. And I like almost wet myself. But when I found Iron Mind, that was like next level. I'm like, oh my God. They had a lot of stuff, and I'd since gone down, the books and there's the little niche forums and like the communities, right? And if there's anything true about lifting, it's like, it doesn't matter what population it is, what the topic is, you'll find a cult dedicated to it somewhere. And the old timey stuff, it's just really attractive to people, whether they're nostalgic for it. If you frame anything in a grainy black and white photo, if something happened a long time ago, people will believe that, he picked up a 9,000 pound bison and hurled it over the fence. Like, they just do. So, you talked about being controversial earlier, and it's like, okay, that's where I'll call myself controversial, because one thing I hate is idolatry. Especially, I mean, it's there, and then you're like, well, is there something to this? When you get to the point where it's idolatry and it's like completely baseless, that's where I just go unhinged, and that's one of the reasons I've kind of biased towards talking a lot of shit about Kaz, because he's everybody's hero, everybody loves him, and I think most people don't know that he's a fucking lunatic, and he's insufferable to talk to. So, so when I consider like Jamie Lewis, like Plague of Strength. I don't know if you guys ever end up there. Don't go on that site with your kids around, because he loves putting like, certain X-rated gifs in the middle of his articles and stuff. But the guy's a lunatic, but he's kind of the same way. He loves just, oh, this is your sacred cow, let me butcher it. I've seen him, and he's kind of a strength historian, but I've seen him go in on Paul Anderson. I want to say primarily because he was obese, but also when you look at the era, I mean, he competed, competitions were big, and you have these huge claims of like really ridiculous feats, except none of it just happened to occur in any verifiable competition. So it's like, okay, that's cool. You see him squatting with barrels in the dirt in the pit that he dug or whatever, and it's like there's some things that look good, like we still don't know how to gauge a one-arm bent press. It's still like a weird thing to equate, but it's like when you look at this stuff, we know what he did in Olympic lifting, we can equate that. So it's, I don't know. To me, it's more likely that things that weren't tracked were embellished. People do that today. Why wouldn't people have done that, 70, 80 years ago? That to me, it's Occam's razor. That to me is just much more likely than he was everything that everybody thinks he was.
Yeah. One other part of the video, just because I liked it so much, was obviously how you call out his stature, his size. He's 5'8", and he's just kind of, I mean, he was probably pretty strong, like I don't doubt that he wasn't a strong person, especially relatively speaking, but then it's the stone. It's the one that Derek Poundstone was picked up, and you look at Derek Poundstone, an absolute freak of nature in his prime, just physique and strength wise at that point in time, and a motor on him and everything, and you're like, this guy's barely getting this picked up to a platform. And the thought was that Louis Cyr shouldered that rock.
Yes.
Or the comparable rock, whatever. It's not the rock, I guess, but
it's not one thing that gets you to the point where you're like, this was complete bullshit. It's when there's like 9 things, and that story has like 9 things wrong with it. It doesn't have anything going for it other than people say this is what happened and you must be a hater. That's literally the only thing they have going for it. And if you're involved in stone lifting, if you're part of that community where you're actually lifting stones, you think about the things other people don't. The first thing is like, well, what was it shaped like? Lifting a stone is not lifting a stone. I mean, Martins did that thing. I mean, that was another thing I hopped on, started, picking apart, because
like
that's
where he was doing
how
those
I spend my
square stuff,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like they had the long, tall ones, and they pick it up with the towel. And I thought it was kind of cool. But it's like, if you look at the shape, you look at the way they lift it, and it's like, well, it's a completely different thing. You can't, oh, well, he lifted a stone. That's good enough for us. That's what somebody who has never lifted a stone says. The implement, it's like a specialty bar. You know what I mean? Like if you have the transformer bar and you got 400 pounds, but the plates are like 8 inches that way, you're like, holy shit. But if anybody just reported it, well, that was just a 400-pound squat. It's like, okay, you don't know what you're talking about. So I could foresee some implement he lifted that might have weighed that much, but then you still have to trust that people actually were like, hey, I know what we should do. We should haul this across town and weigh it. And then just word of mouth, we'll pass it down and it'll be completely preserved accurately. Nothing will add on to that. But yeah, it's his height, it's the length, it's the lack of the talent pool back then, the lack of the training. So you have to engage with magical thinking. Like magical thinking makes up for it. And I hate it. I hate it so much. It's all over lifting. I can't stand it.
You competed at the Arnold in the Arnold Strongman. We had a couple competition questions. When do you have a plan to compete next at any point, or no plan as of now?
So I didn't. I came back. I don't know if I came back too quick. I tried to do too much too soon. I don't know that I competed at the Arnold. I was present. But last year went pretty good. We got comfortable with Theo, and I started training again, and I went to regionals here and I won, and that got me the Arnold invite. And then I saw the Worlds events come out, and I'm like, oh, I haven't done that in a while. Let's do that. So I'm prepping for Worlds. Okay. I got kind of chewed up. I got injured, worse than I thought at Worlds. And then I limped to the Arnold. Didn't do much better. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it's, you have this prep and you think you're going to do X, Y, or Z, and then it's like, oh, I'm a little bit older and haven't been going hard for a couple of years, and you're not just going to snap back like a rubber band. So now I'm like, no, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to heal up my shoulder. I don't know, see if I need a surgery or two, see if I can get some duct tape or super glue to put myself back together. But then I saw that Nationals for Strongman Corp is in Vegas, and it's like, I mean, we're moving to Arizona pretty shortly, so we're going to be close to that. My wife and I, our family's in California, so my wife and I haven't had a proper trip in quite a while. So it's like, okay, well, maybe we'll drop the kid off with my mom, spend a weekend in Vegas. Maybe I'll play strongman for a couple days. And there's like a rule, like when they put it in a good venue, because they never do. They never do. Like you have to go. It's like it'll be at a warehouse in, Wyoming, because they found cheap space. So then you're like, oh, it's in Vegas. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
the stars have aligned.
Yeah, right. Someone from our Discord had wanted to ask, would you ever consider doing a powerlifting meet? Would that ever be on your radar? Or would you have no interest in ever doing that?
I mean, I would. I did. Well, I mean, guys, technically, I did one powerlifting meet. I mean, I'm a power lifter.
Okay,
That makes me a power lifter. No, I did one like, I don't, God, I think it was like 10 years ago by now.
Okay.
I don't really have a desire to like compete, but I would do one as a bucket list thing. I mean, if that's all I'm doing, I would rather switch to like, honestly, I'll be doing like, Atlas power shrug stuff that I make fun of before I think I go straight powerlifting. If I had to go one way or the other, I just find powerlifting too dry, too monotonous, too boring. And I like doing things that make me feel bad, that I'm really terrible at, which usually involves some type of like kinesthetic awareness and flexibility. So,
yeah. Okay. So, Tommy, what do you think about overrated, underrated?
I think
should we jump into that?
We should, yes.
Okay, we've got this game, time-honored tradition we play with every single guest we have on, overrated, underrated. We'll give you a list of hand-picked topics that are for you. It's just your job to decide if each one's overrated or underrated. You shouldn't have a problem with this, but you're not able to ride the line. You have to definitively come down with an opinion on one side or the other. So I think you can handle it. Okay. First one, overrated or underrated, Iron Bibby.
Ooh. I'm gonna say underrated. God, it depends who you're talking to. Do I give an explanation?
Yes. No, that's. I forgot that in the rules. You do have your druthers to elaborate as much or as little on each one as you'd like. So you
this
definitely
is where
get this is where you add in your own special sauce for the answer.
My ifs, ands, or buts. I would be inclined to say underrated because I mean his upper body strength. It's on par with like just as far. I mean, obviously it's a different lift, but it's on par with like what Julius Maddox is doing. It's just It's completely unchallenged. You just have the biggest MFer moving the most amount of weight with his upper body in the most like just raw, powerful way possible. And I think a lot of, especially in strongman, it's like there's no overhead specialist in strongman. It doesn't exist. It's one event out of 5 or more.
Right.
And, but where you could be a deadlift specialist and do extremely well just because it carries over to everything else. Anyway, so the type of power it takes to do that, I haven't followed it long enough. I don't even know where the rest of his lifts are at, but I mean, it hints at so much potential. At this point, I don't know that he's ever going to tap into any of it, but it's just insanely strong, just physical power. Yeah.
Is there anything like you watch his overhead press or his log press or axle, whatever it is, and it does seem like just such a raw, strict press. Is there a thought that like, as a coach, or would anyone watch that and be like, man, if I could teach that guy how to really take advantage of a push press, what could it be? Or do you feel like, no, you're not going to get anything like that is what works for him and nothing else would take that higher? Like, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, it's tricky the more advanced you get in that one particular method, because it stands to reason that, well, all you got to do is use your legs. Your legs are stronger than your arms. Stands to reason you should be able to push press more. But that's not just a technique. It's one that you have to foster as you get stronger. And I actually know guys, Jesse Nelson's a great example. I always use him. The guy could do a 400 pound, I think he got to like 415 or something, standing strict press out of a rack. Now he would lean back a lot. He'd do like the the Mitch Hooper like back lean as he pressed, but no leg drive to speak of. And he was a middleweight. He was a 105 kilo guy. He got within a pubic hair of setting the log record that way. He lost it at like 3 inches from lockout. But he can't push press. If he was going to push press, he'd have to drop 100 pounds. So then you're talking about, okay, you have to get your timing down with weight that's appropriate, which would be lighter than that. And then you have to condition yourself to be explosive through your legs, but then time it through your upper body. It's definitely doable. It's certainly doable, more so than getting somebody to like jerk at that level, because that's completely different, even though the potential is way higher. But it's doable. It's just very unlikely that at that stage of development, anybody gets it. And when you're that good, the question is like, why would you? Right. There's no reward for doing that. Now, if there were a bunch of guys that could do that were at 550 or knocking on 600, then the reward would be there. But at that point, I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah. Okay. Overrated or underrated, the WNBA?
That's what I get for getting out of my wheelhouse. I'm gonna say underrated.
Okay.
Because most of the feedback, I mean, I made a critique video just because I just thought I had something to contribute to the conversation that nobody did, just based on, it's the thing that people don't talk about, like talent selection and stuff like that.
I thought it was a really interesting video.
Thank you.
I watched that full video and I was very engaged with that. I'm a basketball fan, so I thought it was particularly interesting that way too. So
okay,
it was cool.
So a lot of the comment, and I say underrated because a lot of the comments are kind of just the default, like, saying, oh, they get beat by high school boys, blah, blah, blah. It's lame, whatever. It's like, I've spent a lot of time, like I'm involved in female sports. I've coached my wife. I've coached a lot of female athletes, world-class female athletes. Kristen Rhodes was at our wedding. Like she's like, I'm very close to that aspect, especially being in Strongman. You get really close to it, and you start to view the competition a bit differently. So I think it gets a lot of idiots kind of layering that on. Now that being said, do I think it deserves the shit it gets? 100%. But I think it can be more than what people think it is.
Yeah. It's also part of the aspect of it too. The WNBA historically is not rated all that highly, so it'd be almost hard for it to be overrated because it doesn't get a whole lot of credit all that often.
No, Yeah, that's true. That's true. Unless you're asking them, if you're asking what they think of it, right, then it's probably a bit overrated. Right. But
the lowering of the rim height is a I don't know why that's never. It's funny, the comparisons you made to all the other sports where they essentially do that exact thing. Volleyball is like an apples to apples comparison almost.
That one, I started, in my early 20s, I got involved in like a rec league volleyball team. And I was like, oh yeah, volleyball, this is pretty fun. And I watched, like actually paid attention to my first college girls volleyball game. I'm like, God, I can't believe how high these girls can jump. And someone's like, their net's lower, and my mind was just blown. I didn't realize that was what was taking place. I thought they were playing on the same size net as a men's one. So yeah, there's levels to that.
Yeah, the pushback on it has been kind of weird, honestly, because it does seem self-evident. There's people saying, well, it's the culture, and I'm like, I don't know how the height of the rim, like, why isn't the size of the ball the culture? I've never seen I've never seen a basketball court.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've never seen a basketball court where there's a bunch of balls around. It's like, oh, and we also got the women balls over there. It's like, it's a specialty thing you got to get. And a lot of people saying like it's about dunks, has nothing to do with dunks. You need a vertical to do a really convincing, glass shattering dunk. So if you have an 8-inch vertical, it doesn't matter how low, I can have a trash can in front of me. I'm not going to do a dunk on it.
Right. You're still not going to do a 360 tomahawk. Right.
Exactly. But if you got middle school girls, somebody was saying, oh, we start playing in elementary school, the boys shoot on the 10-foot rim. It's like, have you ever seen an elementary school girl shoot on a 10-foot rim? Because I haven't. Right. So they're blocked out early on. And by the time they play, they're in high school. So you got to be tall. And at that point, height's the only thing that matters. matters. So it's better to have a giraffe than somebody who's actually athletic. So you get a league filled with people that are outliers of outliers of outliers in terms of height, which means they're probably not going to be very athletic. So yeah, I mean, to those who haven't seen my scathing review of the WNBA, like I have anything to say about basketball, but yeah, that was.
I really thought it was interesting. I would recommend checking that out if you're interested at all in the WNBA or basketball culture. It was cool. Overrated overrated or underrated grip strength. Last time we met, we tested you on the gripper. And you seemed upset with your. I can't remember your score, but you weren't happy with it.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be bad, and also like I knew because. Rehydrating for a meet, my blood pressure was through the roof. I was coming like 10 pounds heavier after I had to cut like 25 pounds. And I come in and I'm like, I'm going to look like a tomato because I'm like squeezing that thing. I got a little bit of it right now. I get that beer at night and it kicks the rosacea up. But yeah, so and I have kind of long fingers for my like height. And I've always gotten by with grip in strongman. So I've never trained. So I don't have a good grip, but I'm good enough to carry the farmers and to work around an axle and whatever. And that it's very, very rare. It's a limiting factor. So I don't focus on it. Anyways, I think it's overrated. I think it's one of those culty things where people build it up. If you're actively arm wrestling, actively competing in grip sports, or if you're in strongman and like you're 100 pounds under the farmer walk weight, like, okay, it's a problem. Right. So you do grip specialist work. But most people get it, even if you wear straps. Regular gym work gets your hand stronger. It's like the take on like your neck. People do neck training. I've never done neck training in my life. My neck is like 3 inches bigger than when I was like, in my early 20s, just because it gets hit with just about everything you do. So if that's a specialty of yours, that's fine. But people treat it like it's like it's like the fountain of I don't know. It's like the thing you need to be as strong as possible is you need the grip strength. It's like, nah, you really don't.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of times it's kind of like a parlor trick almost. Like there is people that compete in it, and that's a little bit different. I would agree with you there too. But sometimes it's just also some people are just really good at it when they roll out of bed. Like it is a weird thing, like that just people are just like so good just almost naturally, like without training it. So it's kind of it's kind of odd in comparison to the other strength sports to me, because I'm like, no one rolled out of bed and squatted 800 pounds or log pressed 350, like that.
True.
Almost nobody. I said, maybe there's some extreme outliers there, but like Greg Knuckles' uncles that we've talked about before. Have you ever heard the stories of the strength in his family before?
In passing, I think I heard him mention it, but what is it? Some legendary feats they were capable of?
Just stuff that doesn't even seem fathomable. Okay, just for the sake of telling you one of the stories, and Tommy, maybe you remember this better than me, but Greg was getting into training. He's maybe in high school. He's starting to lift more. He's down in his basement.
And also the important thing to
squatting.
note, this is his mom's side of the family. And he said the shortest male in his mom's side of the family was like 6'4" or 6'5". And Greg was saying, as like a 9 man or whatever, 5'10", he was like the obvious runt of the entire family. Like that's the point he's trying to get across here. But yeah, so he's getting into training in high school, and
he's squatting 405 in the basement. And one of his uncles comes, he's talking to his mom and upstairs, and she's like, yeah, you got to check out Greg. He's starting to get serious about it. He's getting serious into his training. He's making progress. So his uncle comes down and he sees that Greg has 405 loaded on the bar. And he comes down and he said, Greg, your mom says you're getting serious. I just wanted to come check on you. He's like, yeah, 405. It seems like it must be going pretty good. And he didn't understand Greg was squatting that day. He thought Greg was doing overhead press. So his uncle proceeds to go cold press 405 pounds overhead.
And Greg's thing is
that's a flavor of the story.
He presses it, puts it down, and goes, it just ain't quite as easy as it used to be, and walks away. And that was Greg's story. And then the other one he told us was that was it his mother
his mom
was like, did she have like breast cancer or something?
Yeah,
or
she's
surgery?
recovering from some sort of cancer therapy.
And he
whatever it was.
wanted, he's like, well, to, improve your quality of life, we should work on, building a little strength. And his dad decided we'll get in on this too. And, as their first day squatting, he thought, okay, well, let's just kind of get a gauge for where you guys are at. And I think he said his dad got to like 135, and you could tell it was a little tough. And so his dad quit there, and he's like, it was very easy for his mom. And I think he said, did they get up to like 315? And she was like,
yeah, they were doing plate and quarter jumps, and they just kept doing it, and it kept just being exceptionally easy.
And I
like
think
where
he
it's
said
like, well, you're nowhere near.
Yeah, she got to like 315 for like 4 or 5, and it still wasn't hard yet. And he was like, okay, Mom, we better stop there. And like that was, but
and she had never really lifted before.
But apparently that was that entire side of the family, I guess.
And this is Greg Knuckles?
This is Greg Knuckles.
Yes.
He also claimed like at one of his family reunions, one of his cousins who was around his age was talking to him about deadlifting, and Greg had said, he was feeling very proud. He had like deadlifted like 5 plates for the first time. And his cousins were like, when they were asking Greg what his numbers were, they were like kind of disappointed that like 5 plates was where he was at, because they were all deadlifting like in the high 600s or 700s even. So these are Greg's claims here.
I've always had this, and I've always like, God, I have a Greg Knuckles quote in my video. God damn it. I've always seen him as being like, especially in like the exercise science crew, I've always thought highly of him because he has a really good,
like a no bullshitter.
an analytical mind. And he's good at doing really deep, intense analytical breakdowns, but also with like a lot of common sense weaved into it.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah.
And there's one of the big problems. He's the one that told me this actually, because I interviewed him some time ago. He's the one that told me, and I didn't want to come out and say it, though it was my inkling from my time in the kinesiology program. He's like, people that are good at math and science go to math and science. Like they don't get into exercise science. Like, yeah, no shit. We know who gets into exercise science. It's like, there's brilliant people there, but that bell curve is skewed. Anyway, so he was telling me about this rampant statistical errors. There was some study that showed it was like 85% of like meta studies had statistical errors in them, something ridiculous like that. And Greg, on the other hand, he's the guy that was able to like sift through the data and figure out the inconsistent statistical patterns that like busted Barbalo down in like Brazil, that like made all of those studies completely like, oh, you guys were just manufacturing bullshit studies like twice a month for whatever. Anyways, it takes a very special type of mind and approach and way of seeing the world to do that. I'm just very, very, very surprised that those legends would come from Greg Knuckles. I did not see that. That wasn't on my bingo
We've said
card
it to ourselves too before. They're like, there's a lot of people telling those stories, and we'd be like, yeah, okay. But the fact that it's Greg, it's like, man, like he knows his stuff.
Hard.
Like that's
Yeah, and he's been very strong. He's totaled over 2,000 pounds, and he's walked the walk as well personally. So he's not a random guy that tells you his dad benched 405 in high school. He understands the reference of these numbers. And
yes, on the one hand, is it possible? like physically, is it possible? Yes, I think it's technically physically possible, but it's so outside the realm of plausibility that I would just think there would be like a self-awareness not to offer that story up because nobody's going to believe you. Like even that's kind of alarming. It's like it happened, but it's like, seeing a unicorn in your backyard. I know it happened, but I'm not telling it because they're looking at me like I'm fucking nuts. That's funny, man.
That's a good analogy, actually. Yeah. All right. Last one. This one's worth all the marbles. Overrated or underrated? The title of World's Strongest Man.
The title of overrated. Good God. Do you want to go another hour? Start me on the topic of strongman titles. Jesus. No, that was one of the first things I noticed this back in like 2004, that like you have a contest, there's like 5 people in the United States competing in amateur strongman. You have a contest titled like, Iowa's strongest whatever. Somebody wins or somebody takes 5th place and they're like, well, I'm the 5th strongest man in Iowa, whatever. People love their bullshit titles. They love it so much. It's in every strength sport. In powerlifting, it's like divisions and
state
weight
records.
classes and getting getting awards in divisions they didn't sign up for because people pushed them over so they could give out more trophies. But yeah, in Strongman, that's where it is. People love their bullshit titles. It makes me cringe so hard. But World's Strongest Man is a contest, you know? It's a first. We have good memories of it. I got into strength because I had a bunch of VHS, you know, kids my age probably had VHS tapes of something else. I had VHS tapes of like Pujanowski, right? Yeah. It's like, that's what I do in my free time. Yeah, a lot of good memories, but it's a contest. You judge a contest based on the amount of talent, based on their ability to determine who's the best. And this particular contest sucks, in my opinion, at least compared to the other ones. So I think in a very short period of time, if Shaw keeps going this way, people won't be talking about the world's strongest man. They'll be talking about the strongest man on earth, because it means the exact same thing, and people will know that's the heaviest contest in the world. And a perfect example, like Rain O'Neill, I know very little about him. I've sifted through his videos. Very strong across multiple domains, very athletic. It looks like he has a shit ton of potential. Most people that get into this level, especially with that breakout performance, don't continue improving, at least not very quickly. Anyway, so I'm just looking at his gaps. One of the things that people that were going back and forth with me were saying was, I don't think going to strongest man on earth is the right move for him right now. It's like, well, how does that work where you're the world's strongest man and this contest is the contest, but your winner can't go to a show that 12 other guys are going to because it's not the right move, meaning it's too goddamn heavy. Right. So anyways, and maybe he'll do well. Turns out he's going. I mean, I was just going to ask,
is he lifting there then, or?
I heard that he's last I heard he's confirmed, but I saw that from a thumbnail, so don't take my word for it. That's what I use as news. That's what you use for news nowadays. You just see the headline and you take it as being accurate reporting. Yeah, so I don't know, but just the fact that, you know, not one, like multiple people were saying like, I don't think that's the right move. It's like, okay, well, you know, that's a branding issue for Worlds. They gotta figure that crisis out.
Yeah. Good news. You passed overrated, underrated. So it was a pass fail. So you got it.
Nice.
Big one for the
Fantastic.
mantle.
All my favorite topics too. You guys know how to get me going.
Yes, that is the goal. I'm really appreciative that you came on. This is a lot of fun. I would mention we had a couple people also in our Discord saying that their base strength, is it base strength AI?
Yes.
Is that their base strength AI users, and they've had great success with it. So
that's fantastic. That's good to hear.
I actually ran into a guy in the park the other day. He recognized my Massenomics shirt. He said he's been running Bull Mastiff, one of his favorite programs. He said,
"Oh, that's fantastic! That is awesome to hear." No, and that's just validating, because I didn't put that out there like this is the best thing you're ever going to do in your life. That was just the one I like doing the most, and I'm like, I mean, so the fact that people use it and they get something out of it, like that's cool to hear.
So obviously they should check out the YouTube channel. I mean, that's my favorite content of yours. I mean, I assume that's where you would want to send people. But what about for base strength AI and anything else? Where do they go?
Yeah, my YouTube channel has all my stuff on it. Alexander Bromley. Why my full name is there, I have no idea. But you know, little pot committed now. So just go to basestrength.com, and that has just got my books right here. I got a book. I wrote it during COVID, actually. It came out all right. Maybe some typos, but it's pretty good. And then the base strength AI titling issue, I wish we could go back on, because when Juggernaut AI came out, ChatGPT didn't exist. So now everybody thinks AI means ChatGPT, write me a program. And it's not. The AI, you know, it's my program templates. The AI just determines based on your inputs, how your recovery is doing, you know, what metrics you're hitting. And there's just a very, very complex flow chart that makes sure that you're in the pocket. So that's what it does for you.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it. I don't know when we'll see you again next, but whenever we do, we'll bust out the grip tester again. So
absolutely, man. I'm game. No, I appreciate it, guys. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's great.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
You got
Cool beans. Cool beans.
He got those.
Give him that double dose of cool beans.
Double dose of retro Louis Cyr grip strength beans right there.
Been a while since we've had a good interview on the show.
Been a while since we've had an interview and got to bust out the cool beans. That just doesn't happen every episode anymore.
That's fun. It's like riding. I think it's like riding a bicycle, isn't it? You just get right back on. You get back right. Is it like riding a horse or riding a bicycle?
I think it's kind of like riding a tandem bicycle. You know,
That's
It's
true.
like you're balancing, but there's another guy there to kind of guide you along.
What about those bicycles, like the quad bikes, like they have, they have at Storybook Land in Aberdeen, where it's like a car. It's like in the shape of a car, and 4 people can ride on it.
Yeah, kind of like the party, the pedal pub sort of, where people, the Storybook Lands. Do those all face the same direction though?
Those all face the same. Those all face forward like a car.
So it's kind of like
actually the pedal pub is
on land.
Yes. Best analogy you could have possibly made, actually, now that you mentioned that, because paddle boat
not fun.
Looks kind of cool, looks kind of fun. Not
terrible.
fun.
Not
cool.
Entertaining, fun,
not
anything.
Fun.
Just pure work and incredibly slow. Incredibly slow. It's actually shocking how slow a paddle boat is.
Those 4-person bikes, or I may even wager to say those beer ones,
Pedal pubs or whatever.
also not near as fun as you'd think.
No, I don't think so either. I frequently, in Sioux Falls here, it's not uncommon for me to have to drive through downtown to get to the other side of town.
Yeah.
And it was last Thursday, I'm going to my son's T-ball game. We got to drive through the middle of downtown, and at a stoplight, you got to wait for a pedal pub to go through. And I'm thinking, are they having as much fun as they're pretending to be having right now? Because I don't know if that's as enjoyable as it seems.
You know what might be more fun than that? Just drinking and not riding a bicycle.
Just posted up, not moving at all except to grab another beer. Now we're talking.
I don't have to mix the two things. I'm decent at both of them, and I prefer to do them separately, if I'm being honest. My exercise and my drinking.
Well, my cardio and my drinking especially.
Right.
Don't need to be mixing those.
Right. What do we got for other things here? You see, you got something about gems.
I got a couple things here. First, another long-term follow-up. I have finished the last and I believe final season of the Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, you're just knocking them out left.
I mean, it helped that I only had a few episodes of that show left too, but
Righteous Gemstones featuring Massenomics crew member Big Ryan Johnson, Jackton Dinger,
member of the God Squad. How could we ever forget? It's a great show. I love it. It's so funny, so stupid. It's good.
On that note, actually, that reminds me, this is kind of breaking news. I started watching something.
What?
Yeah, I started watching a show. There's been a lot of talk over the years about me starting to watch a particular show. And buckle up, everyone. I did start to rewatch Band of Brothers.
Okay.
I introduced Jack to Band of Brothers, and he watched the first episode and surprisingly liked it quite a bit. So
has he seen Saving Private Ryan?
No, we haven't watched that. But I actually was thinking about watching Saving Private Ryan. I've been consuming a lot of World War II
just out of the blue, or
I've now on my 6th season of this World War II podcast. And I don't know. I think I talked to you. Where was the last trip when we went to Ohio?
What is the one called again? What the podcast?
That is a good question. It's a British dude. Well, it was actually the first few seasons were just about Adolf Hitler, so it's called Adolf Hitler.
Oh yes,
but
yes,
I remember. The season I'm on now is just all of D-Day.
Okay,
it's just like 10 episodes of D-Day. Basically.
Like, are we talking an hour each, or how?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really good.
Yeah.
And, they're kind of the joke about like middle-aged white guys loving World War II history. And I'm like, I don't know. I am that stereotype, I guess,
feel like,
because
maybe
I don't know. I almost can't get enough of it.
Maybe it was perception when I was a kid. I kind of like, if you told me in elementary school, I'd just been like, oh, everyone over the age of 30, like everyone that's a dad, knows everything about war. And maybe it was because the world was a little less removed from any major conflicts. There'd always
right.
Lately, I mean, in the last 30 some years, like the major conflicts have been like smaller skirmishes in the Middle East or something. Like it hasn't been these. There's less and less people that had a direct family member that served in a world war in this day and age.
Right.
Where when we were, so yeah, I'm losing my train of thought here, but anyway, I guess my point is, I did think at one point that just everyone knew a ton about war, and now I'm like, actually, I feel like war is less of a hobby of a lot of people, or an interest of a lot of people.
That might be true.
Maybe it's the history thing too. I feel like
that might not be a bad thing.
Well, but I don't even really mean it from that point. I think even the history.
Right.
I think there's a lot of people where it just seems like they don't even really care about history anymore. You know?
Which is probably just a fact. Also, there's just
so
much engaging content.
Yeah.
that
Oh, like
exists
much
of
more
so
riveting
many-
content that's captured in vivid HD.
Right,
than,
right.
Yeah. Photos from war and grainy old footage.
But I can report back, Band of Brothers. It's as good the 11th time as it was the first 10.
I still I've only seen, I started that one. I tried to start with my wife and she was checked out very quickly. So I've only
my wife
seen like
doesn't
the
like Band
first
of Brothers.
episode and a half. So I gotta try it again.
Great actors though too in that show. That's just tough to beat it. So tough that I refuse to watch anything besides it. But I had a new watching partner, so it was like, oh, great, I have someone to like bounce things off of, like, oh, what do you think of that? And what do you think that means? And all this dialogue about Band of Brothers, someone to share it,
A
share
fresh
it with.
face.
Yeah. So no, I have not started The Wire yet. For anyone that thought maybe
I
was
really
gonna say
did
I've
not
started
think
The
you were
Wire.
going to go there, but you almost made me think so for a second. Did we mention? I already forgot now. Did we mention the new Nathan Fielder show? Or the rehearsal?
Yeah, you told me about that. Actually, I do have. I am going to watch that at some point in time, but that's like a watch by myself kind of show, probably.
Okay.
So
I could not remember if I brought that up to you or not. So
I have that on my list.
That's on my list.
I'm
too,
excited to check that out.
I'm going to hit that one now that Righteous Gemstones is done.
What's the pest control?
Oh, dude. Okay. Have you ever had a pest control door salesman come to your house in Aberdeen?
No.
Never. I never had once either. Did not know this was a thing. Apparently, I can't imagine that this is only a Sioux Falls thing. I'm assuming it's a city thing.
Metro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It is crazy. The door-to-door salesman you get for pest control people. And it's like they all ran them through pest control salesman school. Because I could do the sales pitch right now.
So you get different companies.
Oh, they're all different companies. Yeah, different companies.
like how many?
Oh, in over the course of a month, 3 or 4 of them will come to your door every spring.
What?
Yes, every spring. This is the script right here. Doorbell rings, you go and you're like, oh, fuck, I know what this is going to be. And you go out there. It's always a guy between the ages of 21 and 25.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. They all have the same script. Like this is, hey, yeah, so I'm with XYZ Pest Control Company. Yeah, we got the truck coming through town today. We already do pest control for a bunch of your neighbors on the street. I got the truck coming today. Because we're already doing everyone else, we can offer you a big discounted rate because it doesn't take that much more for us to come here. You can get some massive savings. We'll get you in on the plan right now if you agree to this. They all do this exact same thing. And the only variability, because it's all the same guy, it's a guy freshly out of college. The only thing that changes is one guy tries to be really cool about it. One guy tries to be really professional and straight up about it. One guy tries to be friendly. Like they all take a different approach for how they present it.
Right.
But they all say the same goddamn thing. And it's that. And then you go, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I do this every time.
Are we talking mice or what are we even talking
They're like,
about?
no, this is the next thing they do. Yeah, so it's how long has this house been here? You say, oh, it's a newer house. Okay, so have you seen much for pests yet? No, not really. Okay, well,
like what are they referring to? Like,
so what they're like, oh well, with things, just I'll give you a heads up. Things you're probably gonna see. Could be spiders, ants, pests, wasps, hornets, bees. They run through their like 10 list of things that they can do.
Insects, yeah,
and
sure,
how,
of course.
And how
insects
their
all
like
over the place.
service is superior. But the one, and they'll go through the whole things of what they can do. And I have no doubt they can stop the pest. But what they want to do is they want to get you on a quarterly plan that's like $200 and some bucks a quarter. So they basically want to get you for like almost $1,000 a year to have them coming.
Right.
And they talk about how theirs is so much better than the other guys, and I'm like, let's be real, you're not formulating any chemicals over here. You don't have a chemist on your franchise here. Like you guys are probably all getting the stuff from the same place. But what's great about this is I'm always like, oh, and I'm gonna just quit answering the door on these guys because I'm just so. My wife is like just downright offended that these guys even show up anymore. But they'll be like, so yeah, if I can just get you to sign up today, we can save you a bunch of money and we can get you taken care of. And I'm like, I guess, do you have like a brochure or something so I know what I'm signing up for? Nah, we don't do brochures. We know you're just going to throw them away, so we don't do that. I'm like, it's just hard for me to agree to something when I don't know what I'm signing up for. I guess, what questions do you have? I'm like, first of all, how much does it cost? You said $100 today. What am I signing up for? Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So, all right. So we'll come every quarter. We'll do this and this and this. And yeah, this is your great rate you're getting right now. I'm like, okay, well, what about next year? oh, well, yeah, okay, so next year will be $225 each time we come. I'm like, oh, so the price doubles. And then like,
Yeah,
well, okay,
yeah.
what do you do this time? What do you do the next quarter? What do you do the next quarter?
Right.
They're not telling you a thing. They're just trying to get you on the urgency
Right.
factor right now is what they're trying to get you on.
Right.
And they just can't answer the questions. And I'm like, I'm not the type of, I don't make split decisions like this on something. So, and they all do this. They go, okay, well, it's always like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. What do you say I stop by again at 5 o'clock and we'll just see if you change your mind? And I'm like, sure, man, whatever. I need to just start saying no. And then I go down, do not think about it one bit, go back down to work, do. My doorbell rings and I'm like, damn it, it's 5 o'clock again. The guy's standing there and he's like, well, and I'm like, sorry to waste your time, man. No, I'm not doing it. Okay. I walk away. And repeat that. I've done that 4 times. I guess I got to start saying it's done. Like the season is done now. But I'm just so caught off guard that door-to-door salesman did not exist in Aberdeen.
No, I've never had.
I've gotten door-to-door salesman for financial services, with major like national brands, like just introducing myself. I can help with 401ks, IRAs, anything you might have. And it's like, okay, cool. Like I appreciate you're being professional, not annoying.
Yeah.
But that, what else? Cleaning services. You get a lot of door-to-door cleaning service people. Like it's wild. Like door-to-door salesman, not a thing in Aberdeen. They do exist here.
Yeah.
So pest control.
I would not like it.
I could. I mean, if someone told me, hey, you your Mike Rowe dirty jobs, you have to be a pest control salesman for the day, I'd be like, dude, I got the script down. I can hit this right now. I can hit the ground running.
So the pest control guy, like that's also the guy doing the work, correct?
No.
Like
this is just the sales guy for it.
Oh, it's just a sales
I mean,
guy.
I'm assuming this guy isn't doing the work. I'm assuming he has another guy or two that's running the truck behind him.
Okay.
And he's just out here just trying to hit homes and
just drumming
and
up,
get his commission check for the day so he can move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's in this day and age. Come on,
you keep those down there.
I know, it's so annoying.
Don't send them up. Don't give them me as a referral if they ever con you into it and they ask 10 friends. Don't give them my address.
It's wild. And then the hours they check, you can also just be guaranteed that. Like they've also came at times where. It's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. It's like, dude.
Oh, that's when I would almost like
in this.
That's what I'm like. It's a zoo right now. Get the hell out of here.
And also like, oh no, we're finally winding down. Like people are almost in bed. Like that's how I know you're in like your early 20s and the only thing you care about is a commission check because you don't get how this works at all.
Right. Yeah. You keep that down there. You know what you can't keep down there is Juggernaut AI because I'm going to use it too. You can't keep it down there. I'm taking some for myself.
Spread the word.
I've been on Juggernaut AI back on the horse for about 5 or 6 weeks now. Got to tell you, loving every minute of it. Training's going great. I'm enjoying every day in the gym, and Juggernaut AI is a part of that rejuvenation for me. Been using it. Actually, I think I start last day of a strength block this week, and then it's on to a peaking block already. So you can check out Juggernaut AI also. We'll probably talk a little bit more about our training here to give you a spice of what we got cooking on Juggernaut AI. But if you want to find out more through the website, go to juggernautai.app. And if you sign up, you can use discount code Massenomics. It'll save you 10% for the lifetime of your membership. It makes it about $30 a month. Pretty affordable for what you're getting. Pretty comprehensive app that'll guide you towards your training, whether you're a power lifter or just someone that wants to get stronger generally. Works for both of those applications. So, Tommy, how's your training going?
It's going pretty good. Bench is just right on track. It's just following Juggernaut perfectly. I've been ramping back into it for my other movements. Last week, 275 was, coming back from a little bit of a back injury, testing the waters. This week was 315 because technically it was a deload on squat, or not a deload, but a very light week. 315 for sets. Very, very easy. Just playing it slow and conservative at the moment. So still staying hopeful over here. Going to be you could say an unconventional prep is how this one's going.
But conventional deadlift.
Yeah. Unconventional prep, conventional deadlift.
So it is, it's not, you're not going backwards at all though. Like the back progress has all been
forwards.
Back
progress has all been good. Still, when this happens, I think actually I'm probably going to make a run at actually just doing the the Juggernaut numbers for my actual peak here. Like it's going to be a pretty big jump. We'll see. I'll feel it out, but because like pretty soon my peak, I think like next week I'm supposed to have an RP 10 squat day. It's actually technically supposed to be this week, but my things are all messed up. So that one might just I might just treat next week as one more of like an in-betweener and then just like go full into the peak. Yeah. I think I'm going to be okay on squat. Like I'll figure that one out in a hurry, but I think I'm going to be okay on squat. The one that I'm most confused on right now is deadlift because it still is that bottom bracing position still is very uncomfortable. I think it just in a matter of time, there might just not be a whole lot of deadlift going into this prep might be the case, but
right.
That's fine.
It'll be there on meet day.
That's what meet day is for, right? To test those numbers.
That's right. It will. It's always been there on meet day. Someone at the gym asked me the other day how I was using Juggernaut with my knee, like what, because I'm like, oh, I see you're squatting and using Juggernaut. What do you do? Like, how are you doing that? Mm-hmm. And I'm not using like you can be like, are you recovering from any injuries? And I'm not doing that. I'm just, you could say sandbagging the numbers, but I'm really actually more what I'm doing is I'm still using RPE, but it's just like a comfort RPE scale.
Right. It's just kind of graded on a curve right now.
Right, it's graded on a curve. That's the best way. Because like the heaviest squat I've done since knee surgery was this. Was that this week?
Was it like 325 or 335?
Yeah, I did 325 for a set of 3.
Yep.
And I because it was supposed to be an RPE 10 set of 3. And I did 320. Like the most I had done was like 310, I think, for a set of 3.
But like as a post-surgery RPE 10, like that kind of is realistic.
Yeah, right. I'm like, it's more than I've done before. It's a weight that I'm still pretty comfortable doing. Realistically, could I have done 5 more reps and probably not hurt myself? Probably, but I didn't call it an RPE 5.
Right, because training's going to ramp up big time if you do that.
Right. I called it like an RP 9.5 where I'm like, or a 9 or whatever I called it, because I'm like, I could have done another one and I would have been safe. But if I would have done like 3 more,
start getting to the
danger zone. It felt really uncomfortable for me, so that's kind of how I've been handling. And I guess sort of the same with deadlift, just to a lesser degree because the deadlift feels a little better.
Yeah, and you can push. You are pushing that one way more though, like in comparison.
Yeah, I did 530. There again, it was supposed to be like an RPE 10 double deadlift. I did 535. Like, could I have done more than that and for more reps? Yes. But I'm still like, I'm just like slow rolling.
Yeah, you do. You got to just ease back into these things. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Bench, on the other hand, though, I'm just using at full force. I've no injury there that I'm, the knee's not relevant to, I'm able to be in whatever the ideal bench position is for me just fine. So I'm doing that. At the same time, as the program's going, I'm doing the bench whole hog. Yeah. I'm not tempering back the bench. I'm doing that true to the app.
Yeah. So, do you feel like, do you have the feeling of like, oh, my bench is getting stronger every week? Do you kind of have that feeling right now?
This week I have an RPE 10 set of 3.
Yep.
And maybe I would do 355 for that if I feel good that day. That's kind of the number that I was thinking I would do 355. And if I get that, that'll be a good, certainly not the strongest I've ever been, but at my current body weight relative to other times, it's probably getting up there with fairly strong. So especially if I can do that and it goes pretty well, I'd say I'm like, oh, things are going pretty well.
Yeah. And where is your body weight sitting about right now?
I'm like 248.
Okay.
So I'm under, staying on, and I've been very consistent. I've been very consistent at like 245 to 250 for 3 months now. Yep. That's kind of where I've settled right now, whereas getting back into doing some real training and eating the way I'm eating, it's like 245 to 250. And, I used to weigh like 275
right.
pretty regularly, or 265 to 275.
Is a big difference.
So, right. And I still, like, if I would go up to 265 or 275 now, there's no doubt my bench would get better really fast.
Yeah, yes.
But I don't want to do that. I would like to stay about this weight.
Yeah, I don't know if like coming back from a knee surgery, if like gaining 30 pounds is to your advantage.
No, like, and I don't know that I'll ever want to weigh that
Well,
much
also,
more.
yeah,
again.
like ever, really. Like,
you know, I just don't.
To be like getting closer to 40 and then be like, you know what I need to do?
Right.
Start getting closer to 300 pounds.
When I was 28, that was less of a concern. I was like, yeah, I'll be huge, or not calling myself huge, but like
Enormous.
I'll be, yeah, like I'll be. There is no limit. You know, like I'm bigger as always, but like that was sort of my mentality. I'm like, I got up to 285 pounds, and I wasn't like, this is too big. I was like, God, I'm strong.
Things are going perfect.
I'm like, I am so strong right now.
Yeah.
Weights feel like nothing. But now I'm like, don't know if I feel very good if I weigh 285 pounds now. And it's all relative to what the individual. And for me, that's a
Right.
little
Well,
too
and
heavy
also
to
just
hit
different
what I
life
want.
demands too. There's
Right. And plus, I got to keep my rower time. Rower times
Keep setting
down.
those rower
So
PRs.
That's the real goal.
True.
Is keeping my rower times in
Can't
check.
affect that rower programming.
Yeah. My knee is still not 100% making progress, but I'm 7 or 8 months post surgery, and it's still go to physical therapy, still work on stuff, and I make progress, but it's not fast.
Yeah.
It
Was
is
the other
just
one
like-
better by now? Like, was it mostly fine, or was it still in this?
I
same
made
ballpark?
progress faster. At this point, last time I was further along,
okay.
but that's been pretty much true throughout the entire process this time. I'm not on the right track, or, you know, I'm not like out of whack with where it should be. It just was faster last time. I probably made faster than average progress last
The
time.
physical therapist
And
has
this
been
time-
impressed with how much you can sandbag your training, your physical therapy.
Yes.
It's just a lack of
Yes.
effort. Is that what they say is holding you back?
On physical therapy, I had that on Tuesday this week, and my physical therapy, like, some people go in and probably don't do that much. Like,
I get the
my
feeling a
physical
lot
therapy,
of people is what they do.
most people. Actually, I watched what other people are doing there, and most people are barely doing anything. I leave there and I'm like, damn,
Do I need to go to the gym
That was
today?
a freaking workout. You know, like, I'm
The
tired.
therapist
I am
goes, well,
sweaty.
you don't need to go to the gym today.
I do try and schedule it on my, now that I am training, I try and schedule it on my not normal training days, because I could still go do stuff, but I wouldn't want to do that, then go do like my heavy deadlift. I'd be like kind of worn out. My quad is lit up, like my glutes, like my legs are fried.
Yeah. So see, that's the thing. You basically are getting, like, how many days of physical therapy are you doing? 1 or 2 a week?
I'm only doing once every, now I'm down to, I'm only doing once every other week, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought maybe you're getting
Yeah.
like 6 training days a week in. I'm like, well, yeah.
No, I
making gains.
I was doing like 3 physical therapy, then 2 a week, then 1 a week,
Okay.
now every other week. And
Yeah.
some
I actually
people
didn't
at
realize
this point would
you were-
be done going.
Yeah, well, I didn't even realize you were still going until we were talking on the phone the other day. You're like, oh, I got to go to a physical therapy appointment. And I hadn't heard you say anything in so long.
Like, some people could quit go. Like, if my goal was to walk around,
Yeah, you've done it.
I would not go to physical therapy anymore. I can walk around, you know, like, but I'm like, no, this is still actually helping me. And especially a lot of the jump, because right now, even, it's funny, like, some of the stuff, I feel like I can even jump off of 2 feet pretty well. And my vertical is probably not like that much worse than what it would have. Not that my vertical is ever good anyways, but my vertical off of a 2-foot jump is probably still not that far off of what it would have been. But my left only foot is still so hard. It's just like the proprioception and just like the lack of power and just the lesser control. It's crazy how deficient it still is, actually.
But and is it
so-
because of muscle, or is it just because of the whole system?
My muscle size is actually catching up
Okay,
pretty
because
close
that's kind of what
now.
I thought too. Like, that can't be like
Yeah,
that
like,
much.
because we take measurements of it sometimes, and my size is not that far off. So I guess it's not muscle size. It's more just like the control. And I don't know, for anyone that's rehab, that sort of thing, you probably understand what I'm saying without even me saying it, but it's just like not there. Like, I just go to like to skip off of my left leg. Like, on my right leg, it's just effortless, and I feel like I can glide up into there. And my left leg, I'm like, why won't it spring up?
Yeah.
You know, like, why does it feel like I'm just like jumping in quicksand, that sort of thing? Yeah. Big Scar, who was on Unpaid and Underrated this week, I listened. She said she tore both ACLs playing soccer. So actually, had heard somewhere that soccer is the most dangerous sport.
Really?
That is play as far the most in per player, the highest rate of injury. Saying the most dangerous sport is a weird thing to say. I'd say per like competitive player, the highest rate of injury, I think is the statistic.
I mean, I could just come up with a lot of guesses right now for why that's the case, but I'm sure someone has decent reasons. I'd be curious what
I think it's I think a lot of it is like knees and it's cutting.
Yeah.
It's knees and cutting, I suppose. But maybe that's also someone fact check me on that. I don't even know. I'm not professing that to be a fact. That's just something I heard somewhere.
Right.
Could be completely wrong. Drop a comment in the YouTube comments and let us know.
Dangerous? Why is soccer the most dangerous sport? Tell Tanner.
Yeah. Soccer, unsafe at any speed. We need to get Bromley to do we'll get Bromley to do a YouTube video deep dive on is soccer dangerous?
Soccer the most dangerous sport?
And title it Soccer, unsafe at any speeds.
Yeah.
The statistic is probably soccer is the most safe sport.
It probably is. It just has a higher risk for knee injury than like other sports.
Yes. So someone fact check, and I'm certainly not doing the homework on that. Someone's going to have to let us know.
All I know is that it's unsafe at any speed. That's all I need to know.
Yes. You'd think football would have to be fairly high up there too.
Yeah, but I also don't know if like knee injuries, like
certainly happens.
Yeah, but it's not like it's just everyone on the team is plagued with knee injuries in high school.
No, well, so many of the people, I think part of it, so many of the people, based on their position in playing football, they're not going to be prone to that happening because of what their demands. Whereas running out on the soccer field, you're making so many more open field cuts, like everyone is, I would think.
Yeah,
almost.
So much of soccer does happen, like below the waist,
right.
On the, it's all about what's happening, with you.
Given the no hands.
Yeah. Thing. Yeah. Right. Where like football, it's like, well, really, I get it. It is a full body sport, but like so much of it is catching the ball and running. And then you a lot of times know when you're getting hit. So you brace yourself and prepare accordingly too.
Right. I'm making up these theories based on a fact. I'm not sure if it's correct.
I know. I would also say maybe, this is probably a very big generalization, but I would just think from a certain level of muscle mass that the average football player is probably a little more resilient in that aspect than a soccer player. And I'm not saying like soccer players are weak, but it's like not to your advantage to be like super muscle heavy and play a soccer game,
Right. Yeah. What else do we want to cover this week? You got monster trucks? Are we talking monster trucks?
Okay, I'll do this one really quick.
Bigfoot or Gravedigger?
So I've never been to monster trucks ever.
Who would you prefer in a fight?
I would pick
Bigfoot or
Gravedigger if I had to pick between the two.
Yeah. Bigfoot's a little older school.
Little too vanilla for me.
Yeah. Gravedigger would be right up.
A little more flair, a little more showmanship when you got Gravedigger.
Yeah. So you've never been to monster?
Never
trucks?
been in my life, and they always have monster trucks in Sioux Falls here. Like
I've been to them in Sioux Falls before.
It's like every 3 to 4 months there's monster truck show in town, it seems like. Yeah. And I always it's like, oh yeah, take my boy to him. He'd see it. He'd probably think it's cool, whatever. And then I always forget about it. And then this weekend, mow it on the morning, and my wife goes, oh, got monster truck tickets for you guys. I'm like, oh, I forgot about that. What weekend is that? She goes, it's in 2 hours. Better get ready. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. And this was Hot Wheels monster trucks, which means that a lot of times the lights are dimmed down and they have like lights on the trucks, but okay. So having never been to a monster truck show, this one, I feel like they do it wrong because they're trying to do like some theatrics to like, they're trying to like make it a show. Like, all right. Up,
turn it into WWE.
Kind of. Yeah. Like up trucks, first is the long jump and we're going to get a score. Like, so it's Skull Crusher's turn first. He has 30 seconds. Let's see what his score is. And like they try to like run over the cars once, and like the high score is 25, like a max score is 25, and no matter what, no one does worse than 20, and like maybe someone gets a 25, and I'm like watching them like,
and you can't tell the difference
I still,
in any of it.
Don't know if this is pre-planned or if they're trying. I can't even, because like, all right, then when that's done, it's like, all right, the next one is the donuts, and I'm like, come on guys, it's whipping a shitty here. We're not doing donuts. We're whipping shitties.
We're whipping shitties.
And it's like,
The whipping shitty things, I just got to say, the number of people that have sent me meme or reels of other podcasts having this whippy shitty conversation. Like, it's like two women and it's like, you know what they call doing donuts in the Midwest? Whipping shitties. And I'm like, we did that bit on the Massenomics podcast 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, on all these ones that are going viral now, I'm like, welcome to the club.
Massenomics did it. Also, welcome to the Midwest.
Yeah. Like, congratulations on learning that's whipping shitties. We taught people that years
we are
ago.
a land of culture over here. Then like the second challenge is whipping shitties. And like the first two guys couldn't even really do one. And I'm like, do you really not know how to do one? Or is it like part of the show
like
that you're not supposed to do
like
good
you're
right
like a
now?
professional.
Right. So that, because I'm like, the first two guys were god awful. And then like the next three guys just got better and better and better. I'm like, oh, it's the classic showmanship of like, oh, it looks hard, but then they get better and it's even more exciting because you saw some guys struggle. And anyways, way too much downtime and talking between the things. Like, it's like, no, just let those trucks go crazy and rip around. And it's always just like this one guy taking turns and then there's breaks. And it's like, you have headphones on because it's so damn loud, but then like you're always like taking them off to hear the announcers tell some story, but then also you're putting them back on because the monster truck's going again. It was confusing anyways. So then you take a intermission because you got kids, and then you go back and have it set up for dirt bikes. And I'm telling you, man, dirt bikes are just freaking insane.
That's where
where it's at. Like the dirt bikes get done and my son's like, why are the monster trucks coming out? I'm like, well, it's a monster truck show. He's like, no, I just want those motorcycles. And I'm like, and my buddy, I ran into one of my buddies there, and while the dirt bikes are going, he's like, why can't the whole show just be the dirt bikes? And like, dude, the freaking jumps they hit on the dirt bikes, I'm like, this is like actually like making me sweat and nervous. I'm like, okay, you're on a straight up concrete floor. They have this little skinny ramp set up, and then they're landing on like this giant inflatable ramp. But I'm like, if anything goes wrong, I don't know, you're 70 feet in the air and you just land on cement and die. Like, and it's not, at first the guys are just going out and just like airing it out. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, my dirt bike turns, but they're like doing the tail whips and like the Superman and like, what is it? Like the kiss of death and the thing where they're doing like the handstand on it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yep, backflip, like 3 backflips. They're all doing backflips. Yeah. And then the guys kind of go away. And then they're like, you want to see something crazy? And the guy's like, just, going nuts trying to get everyone going. And he does a front flip. And I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, these guys are wild. Like, this is the one that's actually getting a reaction out of the crowd. And then they got to pack them up and bring the monster trucks back out. And you're like, oh, this isn't that exciting. And we were in the very front row. Like, the cars were not that far from us. We're in the front row.
Monster trucks are really loud.
Oh my God. I could not imagine. I was looking, the lady. So next to me,
did they say how many horsepower?
I actually, I'm a bit of a car guy. I've talked about this. So
aren't they like 800?
I had to look this up. I was seeing. So it's all. Like, I'm like, what is in these things for an engine? And it says they're all Chevy big block engines. And I thought it was saying like 1,800 horsepower.
Okay,
Monster truck
I know it's
engine.
just something.
It's a 540 cubic inch Chevy big block engine, usually supercharged and methanol injected, and generating around 1,500 horsepower and 1,100 foot-pound of torque. So, yeah, I mean, like they're like from an engineering standpoint, like they're crazy. Like it's cool what they can make those, and they all have like rear steer. Like their rear wheels are turning too. They can turn. Yeah. They can probably turn sharper in those than most people can in their cars. Yeah. I mean, they are cool, but yeah, they're freaking loud. Those things
they are really loud.
Like you feel it in your bones, even with your earplugs on.
They have the stupid thing there. It's like robotic that looks like a dinosaur that pinches the car up and shoots.
It looks like a Zamboni, and then all of a sudden, like the most pathetic excuse for wings pop out, and then the world's slowest head
they have that?
retracts. So it takes like a minute for this to come. Like, what is this thing doing? And then the head comes out, and it takes way too long.
And then it like to go pinches the car.
Go grab the roof off of a car, and then grab the seat. And I'm like, I feel like this was probably cool in the 90s, but like the world's kind of progressed since then. And I don't know if this Zamboni box dragon thing has.
So they had that exact thing there.
Okay. I didn't know that was a staple. I didn't know if that was a Hot Wheels thing or a staple of monster truck
for
shows.
sure have seen it at least a couple of times before.
Yeah. So I will say, I don't know, the tickets were $50 a piece. I was entertained for $50. When I talked to my buddy that was there, he's like, oh, when you would like to Monster Jam, they kind of just let them cut loose and like, they're just going, there's trucks going wild and they're doing stuff. He's like, this was a little like, it was a little too restrained. So I could see how a different format would assist. But my main takeaway is that dirt bike ride, dirt bike riders, I'm saying this, unsafe at any speed. Those things are crazy.
Just like soccer.
I'm like, dude, these guys are, I'm assuming it's all three of these guys, if I had to guess, are probably in their early 20s and are just like willing to just put their life on the line for some kids that have no clue what's going on. And like, these guys are just going for it though, man. It is.
And they're living the life, presumably. They're traveling around getting paid to ride
ripping around
bikes,
their
so
dirt bike, getting the crowd going and just getting hyped up. And I mean, I can see why they'd like to do that, but that is living on the edge.
Yeah. Do you have one more ad to read? Or
what? I probably do. This episode is also brought to you by Barefoot Shoes. If you head on over to barefoot.store, you can find our favorite barefoot footwear available today. They got a wide range of products ranging from low top shoes to high tops to boots to slippers. All great options and all available in a variety of colors, styles, materials, patterns, all that, whatever you think you might need. We personally, big fans of the Ursus low top. It's go with the black canvas option, gum sole, classy look, kind of stays undercover, doesn't shout too much, but gives you that great benefit of the barefoot footwear. And when you wear them, what's it like? Well, it's kind of like wearing nothing. So if you wear,
it's like wearing nothing and wearing everything all at the same time.
Everything and nothing all at once. That is a good way to put it. It's you got to try it for yourself. If you're on the fence and you're not sure what it is, the only way to know is to just do it and experience it. And I think once you get used to barefoot shoes, it's really hard to go back to any other footwear because it just seems so constricting. But barefoot shoes, that's where it's at. Head on over to barefoot.store. While you're there, use code Massenomics and you can save 10% on your next order. Thank you, Barefoot Shoes.
Thanks, Barefoot. Oh, make sure to check out our YouTube channel, massenomics.com/YouTube. That's not right, but we'll pretend that's how that works. This week's YouTube video, the most recent one was the Garage Gym Tour with Big Jake of Garage Gym Experiment. And then the one that's actually new by the time this comes out is our Garage Gym Tour with Dr. Tatty Waffles. Doc Tat Waffles.
Is there a doctor in the house?
There is now. It's Dr. Tatty Waffles, and he shows off his impressive garage gym with a lot of tech, a lot of Voltra setups in there, and just a lot of even cool like DIY, almost like high-end DIY hacks.
A lot of customization things that
customization.
Because it's been a while since too slow on the button,
bear with
too
me.
slow.
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
You can
It's been a while.
overstate how long it took Tanner to find that button there. Just watching it happen in real time at an incredibly slow pace. But
it took like
It's been 1 week since you looked at me.
to take about a week for you to hit that button. But watching back on the video, I was actually surprised the number of things that I had forgotten about since when we recorded it, a month and a half ago. And he had some very impressive things from building at one point. It's really funny, Tanner. You'll see in the video, he's talking about his, whatever the Elite FTS glute ham machine he has is called.
Yeah.
And he custom fabricated some handles that he can use for dips, and it was like those handles are made to fit just into that machine and also work with his Rogue Velocidor knurled handles. And you're like, is this a product someone can buy? He's like, no, this is a very very specific product. And like when I'm watching, I'm like, there's maybe one other person in the world that would be like, yes, I need that for my Elite FTS glute ham developer, where I also want to do dips with my Rogue Velocidor handles. So there's a few things like that I liked, and he has customized a lot of things in the gym exactly to his specification. And it's all, none of it is just like dumb stuff. Like it's all very practical
No, it's all
reasons for why he did it. So I really enjoyed his gym tour.
Yeah, and I'll said it before. I'll say it again. We're the best at home gym tours. Nobody's better. Everyone else is leagues behind us as far as the home gym tours on YouTube. And if we don't have the most out there now, we're going to. There's like a new one coming pretty much every single week. We're just racking them in. We're racking them up and we're racking them in. Racking them and stacking them.
Rack 'em and stack 'em.
Stacking them bodies high on these home gym tours. Do you think anybody has more home gym tour? Do you think anyone has more gym tours on YouTube than us? Who the hell would it be? Is there someone out there that we don't know?
Well, I would just
that
say
has a whole bunch of gym tours.
The only possibility is just what does Coop's backlog look like? You know, he does.
I bet he doesn't have like 30 gym tours.
Well, but
though,
he
does
has like 10 years of videos, so he would only need to do a couple a year. But
Right,
I mean,
and it could be around there.
we will pass him up shortly here, though, if he is ahead of us. Even that is
Right. So it's true what I'm saying. If we don't have the most on YouTube now, we're going to very soon. And ours are better. That's kind of the trump card. Ours are better.
that's the ultimate decision maker. Ours are better. It's just factual.
Yeah.
There's no room for debate. It's just factual.
There's not debatable. It's not. I'm not open to debate on that, actually. Leave us a comment on this YouTube video. What should we have people comment about on this YouTube video if they made it this long? If you made it this long, I want you to leave a comment about something so we know you made it this long.
Tell us how long.
Like,
you
what
made
would
it.
it be? But what would we have them mention that they would never mention otherwise, so that we just know that they made it this far into the video?
You can mention
Tommy having wool in his hair.
Yes, just tell me I have wool in my hair.
Tell something about Tommy
Having wool in his
Tommy, his hair and wool, and we'll know you made it this far into the video. Buy something from Massenomics.com. Tommy, where do they find you at?
Find me at Tomahawk_D.
You can follow me at Tanner_Bear. Just make sure to follow Massenomics at Massenomics.